the Penguin one is.
I don't know
Is that
either.
like base
But
Linux? Like
that's Android.
that's not Android. That's the Peng. Oh, is it? No, that's the Penguin. That's
Oh,
the
that's Linux. You're right.
Yeah,
The
I
Penguin
thought
is
I thought that
symbol
was
of
just
all
their
things.
generic logo for all Linux.
That's
It
what I
is.
thought too.
I don't know what they're trying to say with that. Maybe they're saying you got to compile your own kernel or something.
All right, well, let's do this real quick. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet. My name's Ian, KO4EFS, and I'm broadcasting tonight worldwide on YouTube, and we're also on a Zoom platform, which you're welcome to join, and we'll be on here for the next 2 to 3 hours. Tonight, we're going to be tackling technical issues. I'm joined by my co-host, Joseph, KM4OVZ, and some of our regulars tonight, Rick, K4RAB, and Dallas, N4DDM, and I know we're going to have others that are joining us later as well, and Chris and Dave, and we also have Jonathan and Micah and several others. So thank you for joining tonight, everybody. It's going to be a good night. We're going to be. I almost said it again. We're going to be specking a computer tonight, top to bottom, and it's going to be the one that's actually going to do this broadcast in a couple of weeks going forward. So tonight, you guys help us make the decisions so that I don't end up swearing and cussing during these shows because the computer's not working right. Because from now on, since you guys are all here tonight and you're part of this, it's going to be all y'all's fault when something happens to this new system. I'm going to blame every one of you, every last one, especially Joseph, of course, but I'm going to blame all of you very much so.
I didn't know you were becoming a 2024 presidential candidate.
Yeah, there you go.
Blame your problems on everybody else.
Well, I'm nearly senile, but not quite there yet. I hear that's a new qualification. Anyway, let's leave that where it is and go back to something more important like radios. Tonight we're going to be doing this. We're going to be specking that computer. We're also going to be discussing some other things. The SDR RTL. You guys all have one of those little dongles, right? Not that dongle. This one. Yeah, that one. Well, it's blurry as hell, isn't it? What is there like a smudge on there or something?
This one? This is an African American one.
It's a dongle of color.
That's right.
A dongle of color. I love it. Okay, so there we go. I don't know what, there's something on that lens. I don't know what it is. But the SDR RTL, everybody knows they have one of these. Well, I put it on the aircraft band 1090, and you guys know I showed you a couple weeks ago. I actually got the I went and I actually got a real antenna for it, and that worked out really well. And this new antenna I got actually put my distance out like 150 miles or so, and then I got the LNA. And it's run off bias T, which is power that's sent through the coax, and from the SDR, which I'll tell you, it's all set to work. It works pretty easy on most computers, not all. But I hooked that LNA up, and I'm now picking up planes north of Jacksonville, or up near Jacksonville and north of Gainesville. I've actually picked up planes that are 250 miles away. So it's pretty amazing. You'll have to excuse, I got a pile of boxes back here. I've got a bunch of big jobs done, and I've been buying things for the shack. And I'm one of these people that I never throw the boxes out until it's worked for 2 or 3 months. I always keep the boxes, and if it's a radio or something, I never throw the box out. Sometimes.
I still have the box.
God, this thing is touchy. Sometimes. The box like this Anytone, this is a nice Anytone box, right? My Anytone came in that, and it makes a really good condiments box. Notice I got all my barbecue sauces, my ketchups, all that
box
stuff
will
in there.
probably outlast the radio.
Do what?
The box will probably outlast the radio.
I have 3 boxes up there on my shelf, and the radios are in the scrap pile. They're literally in my parts bin. But the radios, the boxes are still in great shape. It's funny, we pulled our Christmas stuff out one year, and we've got this one thing that we pack away in the same box every year. And my mother goes, you know, I remember buying you that boom box in high school.
Wow.
It was a nice box. Anyway, it was the boom box. All right. Anyway, so let's go on here. We can go ahead and, if you want, we can start with the building of the computer. We're also going to go through some news at the end, and the tropics are quiet. There's not a lot to talk about there, but there's a lot going on. Yeah, I know. I used the Q word. You're not supposed to do
The
that.
sea surface temperatures are frighteningly high, so be careful what you say.
Yeah. Once
Yeah.
Joseph starts, I'm going to have to find a new adapter for this because I can't. It's weird. I can hear you guys sometimes, and sometimes I can't. Hey, there's Dave, the other Dave.
We got three
almost
Daves in
enough
here.
Daves for a quorum.
We got 3 Daves in here. Not even kidding. Yeah, I don't know which Dave. I don't know which Dave another Dave is, but we got WG4K Dave, AC3AV Dave, and we also have another one.
Another Dave. Good evening, all.
I'm looking for another match so we can get a full house.
Oh gosh, we got another Dave. We got 4 Daves.
We've
There's
got 4
4
Daves.
We got 4
Four
now.
Daves in here.
Well, we're going to have to change the name from the Southwest Florida TechNet
Oh,
to the
boy.
Southwest Florida DaveNet.
There you
I
go.
watched your video today, Joseph, and I'm really impressed with the audio.
The radio one?
Yeah, on your 220 icon.
Yeah, I was just using my phone. I was using the Galaxy S10, and I was surprised too. It was really clear and loud.
It was. Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were doing something special.
I wish I had. But yeah, it worked pretty well. All
Well,
right.
You know, the Galaxy phone that I had was one of the best phones I ever owned. I have to tell you guys. But the interesting thing about it is I went to a Samsung less expensive phone, like the cheapest bottom of the line Samsung phone. And when they call it a cheap bottom of the line phone, they make a very good cheap bottom of the line phone. It's just not that good at all. And what they're wanting to do is they're saying, look, next time, you cheap bastard, don't buy that $100 i93 cheap man Metro PCS phone. What you need to do next time, okay, is you need to buy that $2,000 Galaxy S10.
Dude, I'm looking at it on Amazon right now. This exact phone that I have for Amazon renewed is $180
Wow.
Oh, get out of here.
for
Really?
unlocked. Well, yeah, here's the thing.
sucks when the phones get to be more expensive
it
than
rooted?
ham racks.
Yeah, well, it's not rooted. It is unlocked, so you can use it with any carrier. But
So I
the-
can just walk in, yeah.
yeah, when the flagship phone becomes more than like 3 years old, the price just drops crazy fast. When I bought this from the same exact listing back it was maybe 3 years ago, or no, it was more like 2 years ago. I paid about $500 for it, and now it's dropped to $179.
Nice.
I should buy like 3 extras of these for when this one breaks.
You know, I would love to have one of those again. I had the S8 and it was a wonderful phone. I had the Note 5 and it was a wonderful. But those are both top line phones. Anyway, if you get a top line phone from Samsung, they're about the best you can get. If you buy a bottom of the line phone, you're getting a bottom of the line phone, no matter who you buy it from. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this,
I've got
Joseph.
one quick question on the phone. Does that operate off of a real OS or is it Android?
Well, it's Android,
Okay.
but that is a real OS.
That's a trick question.
Hey, at least we don't have to spend 4 times the actual value of the device.
Now that's one of those trick questions. That's like asking somebody, so when was the last time you beat your wife?
Yeah.
All right, so what I'm going to do, Joseph, is
That was right after I bought the car.
Oh, man.
so it wasn't right after you bought that new HF rig. All right, so let's see here.
HF rigs are
Joseph,
cheap compared to the phones.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to dial into that same computer that you're dialed into using the other system, and then we'll be able to go from there, and they can all be able to see what we're doing here.
Just gotta finish my chicken wing here.
He's always eating.
Kentucky Fried or Chick.
I brought it in here just so Dave would say something.
Those bloody Yanks are always eating.
I want to know why he's not as big as a house, you know?
Actually, I've been
as a
having
rail.
problems. I've been having problems lately because am so skinny. I'm having to like take vitamins now and stuff because I'm like
Some people in their problems. Oh, I'm too skinny.
Yeah, yeah.
You should stop eating greasy foods for one thing.
I almost never eat. This is the only thing I eat that's greasy.
You better eat your chocolate ice cream now while you can enjoy it.
Yes.
See, the problem with me is that I naturally eat like an extreme, what most people would consider an extreme diet. I eat a lot of salad, things at the restaurant that people would normally order if they were trying to lose weight. That's what I order because I think it's tasty. That's always been my problem. Is I naturally eat super like lean, so now I'm starting to actually have problems. I was feeling poorly all past 3 days. But let me know when you're ready, Ian, and I will.
Yeah, I'm ready. I gotta get things hooked up here. I'm having audio issues, which is great because this, reminds me of being at work. Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do here is.
Transfer the signal, but we've still got a radio in our hand or some form of audible device.
Hello. Hello.
Sorry.
Hello. Is that you, love, on the telly?
Oh dear.
Here we go. All right, there we go. I'm going to share that
You
screen.
may
I'm going to
wind
make
up-
that full
You
screen.
may wind up raising GB13 COL, which was an impossible task.
I did it. No, I got it. In fact, I just worked 2 stations on 6 meters, one in Scotland and one in England before I came on here. That's why I was a little late.
Oh,
But I did work the guys over in East Hampstead. I actually chatted to them, which is probably the wrong thing to do. But
Do you work any of the 13 colony stuff?
yeah, I didn't get too many others. I got 6 in the, but I wasn't on the air Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Oh, and Saturday and Sunday. So I was only on the air Monday and.
I worked the 13 colony stuff, got all of the states on CW with QRP power.
Cool.
And got TM13 COL as well on 5 watts. So I'm pretty happy camper. Never could get GB13 COL to come on the air. So
I don't know whether it was he running CW.
I don't know what he was running.
There was 3 guys and they were very close to each other, but they both got all 3 of them had powerful
I
stations.
understand they had some kind of hissy fit over something that happened over here. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Wasn't to do with that treason, was it?
No, I think it had more to do with lids on the air or something.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Don't forget the UK is limited to 400 watts as well.
Yeah, well, I could talk to France with 5 watts.
Yeah, exactly. But there were a lot of lids on this time, I must admit. There were a lot of a-holes, do you call them? I don't know.
Lids.
Lids.
Lids and OMs.
Oh, I don't know what an OM is.
OM means old man. Well,
okay.
I guess, but it's usually has a negative connotation. So it's not like your standard. It's more like an OM would be. It's almost the same thing as a lid.
That's just an older lid.
Yeah.
A grumpy old man.
Yeah, grumpy old man.
Yeah.
That narrows it down. Yeah. Did they have grey hair and a goatee?
Probably. It was you.
That's like 95% of them,
Isn't it funny that no matter where you go in the world, there's a douchebag?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
The Ni4CE big stick system has got a lot of them. Well, they're different though, because they actually they're not. It's a different kind of lid because they're kind of funny to listen to.
They're brainy lids.
Yeah.
I remember
a
lid used to be between a quarter ounce and a half ounce.
Yeah. That was a while ago. All right, so here we go. I'm sharing now. You guys should see the screen.
See my cursor moving around there. Yeah.
We're both
Well,
dialed into a third computer is how we're doing this. So we always show you guys behind the curtain. So there you go.
did you make the cursor like super big on this one?
I did because I can't ever see it because I'm old.
Okay.
Excuse my gerioses.
Geriatric.
I
All
know,
right,
it's
so
terrible.
we gotta build a computer tonight, and I've done a little bit of research before getting into all this because one of the tricky parts of building a computer with a high-end CPU is that most of the motherboards have to have their BIOS firmware updated before you can use your high-end CPU. And sometimes on certain versions of boards, that BIOS can only be updated with a CPU in the slot. So I had to make sure beforehand that I found a motherboard that was nice and performant that would allow firmware updates without a CPU installed. Because otherwise you would have to buy two CPUs. You know, you'd have to buy a cheap one that works and you'd have to buy your high-end one and you'd just be wasting money. So I found one that works and we can
That's
proceed.
counterintuitive, but whatever. The government must have done it.
Right.
It's because the motherboards are released.
Particularly the current regime.
Motherboards are designed and built and produced, and then new generations of CPUs come out, and then they have, you know, they're not supported with the stock firmware. So then the manufacturers release an update, and you just kind of get met with that sort of problem. But luckily,
you're good, Joseph. I wasn't expecting you to give him an excuse for him. It's all good, brother.
Yeah, in the perfect world, they would all support updates without CPUs.
If it doesn't, it's Vladimir Putin's fault.
Yeah, let's blame it on him.
That's right.
Yeah, the war will end when he's killed every single
Ukrainian.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, so we are here on a website I like a lot, and it's what I use to build my current computer. It's called PC Part Picker, and it is a very good tool that most professional computer builders use. And it has a lot of pre-made computers in it. So like if we go up here to the top, you can see we have an entry-level gaming build, we have a great AMD gaming build, an enthusiast streaming build, and they all have different stuff. Like if we let's click the AMD build here.
That's right. About our price threshold is $1,000.
All right.
So just to go, so you know where we're starting tonight.
Yes, we should be able to keep it under 1,000. I'm hoping. But you never know. Sometimes prices fluctuate. There's a lot of really cool features that I'll show you soon here. But here's a pre-made AMD gaming build. Here's a bunch of information on why they chose the certain parts that they did. It talks about the CPU, talks about the motherboard, memory, talks about everything. And then if we scroll down here, we have the actual part list. Now, I'm going to say this right at the start here. See how this red thing says incompatible? This is an official guide made by them, and it still says compatibility warning, and that is because of the BIOS update problem I spoke of just a minute ago. Normally this would be green and it would say all components compatible, but the cool thing about this website is you can actually click and it'll tell you exactly what parts are not compatible with each other. So if a case doesn't fit a certain graphics card, it'll warn you. It'll say this case is too small to fit the graphics card, stuff like that. It'll alert you to potential problems, which is very, very, very useful when you are about to spend a lot of money and you don't want to buy something that you won't be able to use or you'll have to modify.
I want to be a pain in the butt again. Sorry. Can we just go one step back? What's just as briefly as possible, but what's the difference between a gaming build and a regular computer that I would want?
So when it says gaming, most of these computers are built with the intention of running AAA, big, high graphics, high demand games on it. So it'll have a CPU and a graphics card and memory that's all paired together for maximum gaming performance. It usually, for the most part, is emphasis on the graphics card because that's what does most of the work when you're gaming. Graphics card and CPU are usually what those focus on. The other types of builds are like workstation builds. A workstation build would be something that is built with like a massive CPU and 2 stacked up graphics cards for high performance video editing and stuff like that. Graphics cards also do other things besides rendering. They can do calculations and stuff. And so a lot of tech companies will use graphics cards to run their equations and whatnot. So a workstation build would be more geared towards absolute performance for a certain task in mind. Gaming is usually built with just everything maxed out. So you have different levels. You have entry level and mid level and high end level, and then there's ultra high end, and that's when you're spending 10 grand on a computer, is like ultra high end gaming. And usually you don't actually need that much power because no game takes up that much power. But what we're going to do today is we're going to try and focus. We're going to build it all custom. So we're only going to put parts in that will help us. We're not going to put a super fancy graphics card in because Ian's not going to be gaming. We're going to try and focus all our money on things that actually matter. So we have pre-mades here that we can choose from. Let's check out the entry-level gaming build here just to see what they did with this one. We look here at the part picker. See here how it says compatibility, it's green. So that's what it would look like if you don't have the BIOS update warning. But they have an i3 in here, costs about $100. They've got a $100 motherboard in here. Just some generic memory, generic solid state drive. They did put a fairly decent graphics card in here. And that's what I mean. This card is even more than Ian would ever need, but it's on an entry-level computer. So that's why
we're going to be doing a special graphics card. That's the one part of this computer build that that we're doing differently. It's going to be very different. I'm going to have 4 outputs. So we'll have to, you know.
Well, that's one thing we're going to have to decide about as we're building this. So the graphics cards, I looked at them earlier, and one thing I was noticing was that there's only one card that actually has 4 HDMI outputs, and that card is pretty old, and I wouldn't really recommend putting it in a brand new computer. However, most gaming cards, even the lower end ones that don't cost a lot of money, will have 4 outputs, just it'll be 4 different kinds. So my card, for example, has 2 HDMI and 2 DisplayPort. And you can get on Amazon for $7, you can get a DisplayPort to HDMI cable. So I was gonna hope we could go with something like that, and it wouldn't have any functional difference. You would just have to get a display to HDMI.
No, that's fine. As long as there's plenty of space for it on the motherboard and all that, we're good.
Yeah, and this can be expanded too.
If we want 2 decent video cards that each do 2, that's fine. As long as they work well together. That's always been my concern.
Yeah, no, we're going to make sure everything will.
There was a time years ago where if you wanted multiple screens, you had to buy like 3 identical video cards, and they had to fit into 3 of the same slots.
That was in VGA days, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. And I was one of the first people anybody had ever known that I had 4 screens back then, and it was unheard of. I had 3 19-inch CRT monitors, and then above that I had a small one, like a 17.
Oh, wow.
And my desk was huge. It took up half the room because of the size of these CRT monitors. I am so glad that's over with.
Yeah.
And the heat that would come in that room, I had fans set up and everything. It was terrible.
Wow. Yeah, well, good thing that's all a lot cheaper now. You can get that for fractions of the cost.
Yep.
Speaking of cost, look at this thing. $3,000 for this computer. The main thing that costs a lot of money here is the graphics card. Look at that. $1,400 for the graphics card. Now this is like the ultimate high-end graphics card, especially with the prices, how they've been. This is one of the things I wanted to show here. So they actually have a price history graph, and it tells you which vendors have which prices. So the main places we'll be ordering probably from is Amazon and Newegg. Newegg does a lot of computer stuff. They're mostly computer stuff. That's where I ordered a lot of my parts from, and the prices are as good as you're going to get. Sometimes Best Buy will have it, and Walmart even has certain things sometimes. But you can just kind of see the graph there. And there's also reviews built in, and there's other command panels and stuff. So this website, I think, is just really, really cool for anybody building a computer of any level. You don't have to just build gaming stuff with this. You can build an office computer if you really wanted to. But let's get started. We're going to start with a blank slate here because the other ones, we want to be able to pick everything ourselves. So the only thing that I have sort of pre-picked beforehand is the motherboard, because we had to get one that has a feature in it where you can just insert a USB drive with the update on it and push a button on the motherboard and it'll update. Otherwise, you actually have to put a CPU in there, which is a big problem, and I really wish that all motherboards had that feature built in. So I wrote down the actual name of the CPU. So we want the Gigabyte X5750. And I know, Ian, you're worried about getting bus rates that match what you want and everything, but you're not going to have to worry about that on these motherboards. These are gaming motherboards. These are designed with high performance in mind. And this is the one that I think we should use, Gigabyte X570. This stuff here, Aorus Elite, is just like the trim level, because there's a couple different versions. One of them has Wi-Fi. Some of them have like Bluetooth and stuff, but we won't even use that. So
network.
What was that?
Wi-Fi is network.
It has networking in terms of a Ethernet jack on the back of it, but it doesn't have Wi-Fi. So if we look at the
Don't want
panel
Wi-Fi.
here, it does not have Wi-Fi built in. So
Right.
you
I'm
plug in
trying
with
to
Ethernet.
get everything off of Wi-Fi. I'm going hardwire on everything except one laptop, just to try to get the RF down.
Yep, this doesn't even have the thing built into it, so we don't got to worry
Matter
about
of fact, I like in the shack here, I took the wireless I had in the shack is gone. All I got wireless in the house. And so that RF doesn't affect me out here. And once I get this computer, I'll no longer have any Wi-Fi stuff in here at all. It's all going to be hardwired through my hub.
But it's
Yep.
connected Wi-Fi network.
I do not know what you mean. Okay, so we have the motherboard in there, and we can see our total here. So
That's
this
not
total is calculated from I believe like the average, or maybe even the highest. I believe it's actually highest price from the different vendors that have it available, because some vendors will have it for less money. This is where it's pulling the price from for this one. This is Newegg, and it looks like it's going for $149.
Yeah, that was the cheaper one. That one was on sale, $20 off, I think.
Yeah,
There's a promo code
actually-
up there.
Does
Yeah,
this have any
$7.
built-in ports? It doesn't look like it.
For if you're thinking about ports, we have. Wait, is there a better picture of it? Here we go.
It's like it does.
Here we go. We got plenty of USB. We got 4 USB 1.0.
Does
We got
it
4 USB 3.0, and we got 2 USB 3.1, which is, I guess, just even faster. And then we got one network, plenty of audio ins and outs, and then
Gee,
one
that
HDMI. That HDMI port there, most of the time you won't use it, because that's only usable if the CPU you're using has a built-in graphics card in it.
Right.
So we don't have that. Are we full screened here?
Yeah, I can. Let me just.
I can't get back to the other tab. I can't see there we go. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, I need the back button. There we go. Okay. So there's that. I don't know why I see this. There we go, went away. Okay. So this is the motherboard chosen, but the next thing we want to choose our CPU. And this is what we want to get the most bang for our buck, because Ian would not use a graphics card, but he would definitely use a CPU. So the one that I have sort of looked at beforehand, and we can change this out later if we decide it's too much money or we find something better. But I've looked at the AMD Ryzen 9 5900X. This is more or less top of the line before you start getting into the $1,000 CPUs. It costs $400 on Amazon. It's a little bit more from, I've never heard of this vendor. It's a lot more from this vendor. Never heard of them either, but everybody else seems to have
And you
the same
won't with
price.
those prices.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy. Why would I buy from them? And it tells you the stock here too, which is really nice, because we've been having a lot of stock issues with electronics lately, and it tells you here Best Buy is out of stock with the CPU. Best Buy never has stock. If we look here at the graph, we can see right now it is at a fairly low price. It did go up to, what was that at? It was up at $550. It almost went up to $600 in March. Thankfully, it's gone back down quite a lot. So that's pretty cool. If we look at the specifications, it's made by AMD. I like AMD stuff. I've been using my CPUs in AMD, and generally they seem to be better price for power compared to Intel, in my opinion. We got 12 cores. That should be plenty. 3.7 gigahertz, and if it goes up to max, it's 4.8 gigahertz. That's quite fast. Not that gigahertz is everything, but just a higher number. The series is a Ryzen 9 series. That's why we got to update the firmware on the board. this other stuff doesn't really mean much. It does not have integrated graphics. So some of the Ryzen series CPUs have a built-in graphics card, which means you would use that port on the side of the motherboard. The problem with built-in is that it's not really powerful. It would work for what we would use it for, what Ian would use it for. But this one, we're not going to waste money on something that wouldn't really get used. You only get one output with that, which is not enough. The maximum memory you can use with this is 128 gigabytes, which is plenty.
That's about enough.
Oh yeah, that should be plenty. It does not include a cooler. A lot of Ryzen CPUs do come with a cooler. Mine came with a little fan that you put on there, but this does not. So we do have to pick out a cooler, which is good anyway, because for something like this, this is a high power CPU. It's going to make more heat. So we need something that's going to be able to keep it efficient, because when the CPU gets hotter, it starts throttling down power to avoid overheating. So we have to keep that thing cool. You have a few other informations about it.
It's probably going to run 24/7 too. It's going to be one of those kind of things.
Yeah, so it staying cool is very important. And this choosing this CPU too, it helps a lot to sort of future-proof it, because you could get something older for less money that would have comparable power, but this is one of the latest that has come out. I believe it came out around April of this year. So that's plenty recent.
Yeah, I mean, in 5 years, this still should be a pretty darn nice computer.
Oh yeah, and especially if you take care of the operating system and you do a reinstall every now and then. Yeah, this is going to be plenty. I mean, my CPU is almost 10 years old now, and it's still perfectly fine. Now we already have the little compatibility warning, and if we click the details about it, it warns us here that the CPU is the problem, and it says the motherboard we selected supports this CPU with BIOS version F30. Now, if we go here, I believe there was okay, there's no link here, but if we go Gigabyte, what was it? 57. I gotta look back and see what the model of motherboard was. X570. X570. A little bit laggy here on my end, but it's working. And if I click on Gigabyte here, did it click? Clicks are being a little bit weird. Sometimes it doesn't register my clicks. Okay, so here's their official website for it. And now if we go down to, I think they have a downloads tab somewhere around here.
Remember this computer's that old 10-year-old workstation that actually works very well, but it doesn't react fast. It's for some reason, it's got a slow reaction time, but once you get something going, it runs like a champ. So that's why sometimes it seems laggy.
Well, this is just an example picture for the little shield they put on there. That's not what is actually on the motherboard. Does not have a PS2 connector on it. Yeah, believe it or not, a lot of the cheaper motherboards still come with PS2 connectors on them. Okay, I'm trying to find, here we go. So you can update the BIOS from the computer, but I'm trying to find where it actually has the versions of the BIOS that you can download, because I found them earlier. Oh, it's probably in support. This it? Yeah, this is it. Okay, so you have your drivers for your different built-in audio stuff, but if we click BIOS here is all the different versions of the BIOS. So it says it supports the CPU as of version F30, which was released in 2020, which is 2 years ago. So chances are good that this motherboard would come with the updated BIOS already, and you would not have to actually do the update. But I would still recommend you do the update before putting the CPU in. But if we can't update for whatever reason, I'm fairly confident that it would be correct already, because that was 2 years ago. So you can download it here and you can see what the changelog say, added support for Ryzen 5000 series. They also added support for Ryzen 9000 series with that update. So we don't got to worry about it. There's been a lot of updates since then with more bug fixes and other various interesting things. So that confirms that our CPU will work. Oh yeah, there's a little tab on here. Let me go back up. CPU support. You always want to check this, double check this kind of thing. Here we go. It does, in fact, support the Ryzen 9 as of version BIOS F30. So there you go. does. So these two will work together despite this warning here. And it's just warning us about something we already know. So now we got those two in, and already we are up to $512. But this is good because most of our money is going into the graphics card. $400 going, or sorry, not graphics card, CPU. Most of the money is going straight into the CPU, which is where we want everything to be focused. And this is what's so great about building your own system. For me, I would have balanced my cost. I would have taken 50% of the money and put it towards the graphics card and 50% towards the CPU. We don't need a graphics card, so we can put everything towards the CPU and get something really, really nice. I mean, this is a high-end CPU. I mean, you could stream, you could export video, you could, the list of stuff you could do on this computer all at the same time is quite large. It's got 12 cores, so multitasking is no issue for this computer. Next up, we want a CPU cooler. Obviously, we got to keep that computer cool. And this is where you can spend a lot of money, but you really do not need to. So you can spend, you know, $200 on a Corsair iQ with RGB fans. One thing that you'll find a lot with computer parts that are high performance is everything will have these rainbow lights in it. And there's kind of a joke among the gaming community where the more lights you have, the faster the computer is. But this is where you can save money because some of the cheaper stuff will skip the lights and you'll just get more performance instead of wasting it on the pretty lights. I mean, they definitely look cool, but you really don't need them for this kind of thing. I mean, Ian's got enough lights in his shack already.
And truthfully, honestly, I don't care about these. I've got all my own lights. I want this thing. This thing's going behind something. You're not going to see it. So, you know, I want to make it just very undercover, black, like a black box. I'm not paying for any extra lights. I want all the money put into performance.
Yep. So for our cooler here, we can spend as little as $13, but this CPU needs something decent to keep it cool. There's a couple pretty good brands. Cooler Master, I think, is more on like the well-known but cheaper side. What's that other company? Noctua makes good stuff. I don't know about Deep Cool. I haven't heard about any of their stuff. But I mean, for simple things like a bunch of heat pipes with a fan strap to it, I mean, you really can't go wrong. It's just going to be a computer fan stuck to some pipes. So it's not like if you want to get like an AIO, which is like where you have a radiator and water cooling and a pump circulating, that stuff you kind of want to spend more money on because it's got more parts.
Website?
Yeah, we're on PC Part Picker is the name of the website, pcpartpicker.com.
So how do we know? I mean, the speed, is there some way of measuring the flow of the air?
Yeah, so a lot of these will have like a CFM. I believe it means like cubic feet per minute or something like that. And they will have a rating for that. Let me see if I can find it here. This one doesn't have.
Is the speed controlled by the motherboard?
Yes, so there's a little header on the motherboard that you plug the fan into, and depending on the temperature of the CPU, it'll speed up or slow down the fan. Let me see if I can find.
So does that mean a fan that's capable of going faster is probably going to be better?
Stronger.
Well, not always. So you can have like, so for example, if you had a bunch of really small fans that blew air extremely fast, it may not be as good as a bigger fan that pulls more air but slower.
So noise is relatively important as well, I would think.
Yeah, noise is one of those things. So we do have a dB rating on here.
Yeah, I see that.
So we can sort by fan RPM, noise level. I want to find one that may have like a CFM rating on it. Here's a Corsair. Corsair is a well-known brand. They make good stuff. My computer case is a Corsair. Does it say here? No, I guess it doesn't. Well, maybe it would if I went to like the actual listing. It might say how many cubic feet per minute it can move. But generally, you don't have to worry too much about that. If it's just, you know, if it'll fit on the CPU and it's a fan with heat sinks on it and it's not like really small, you'd probably be good to go. This one is $100 and it is pretty big. It's got actually 2 fans on there. See if I click tech specs here. Man, oh my goodness, I didn't even do that. This is really lagging behind sometimes. Okay, here we go. That's the only tech spec we get is weight. Okay. That's not helpful. All right, so I want to
say it doesn't even say what it is. It says it's 1.42. 1.42
Yeah,
what? You know, bananas.
I think that's Troy ounces.
Yeah.
we could spend $700 on the cooler if we wanted, but I don't think we want to do that. So I'm going to try and find something here that would. Okay, this is. Oh,
$700 cooler better fly my helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want that to make ice at least.
Well,
Yeah,
and the
really.
truth is,
Air conditioner.
I'm going to have a piece of dryer hose that's going to literally pipe into the back of this thing. It's going to go in wherever the input is. So the thing's going to be cooled right off the air conditioner. So it's going to be very cold to begin with. And, you know, so it shouldn't need that much. But still, I want a nice cooler in there.
Pray research.
Overheating things seems to be one of the things I do a lot of.
You do it well.
I do it well. You know, I got to tell you, you know, Mom taught me a long time ago. If you're going to do something, do it right. You know, don't half-ass it. If you're going to do it, you jump in there and you do it right.
Yeah.
My mother said if you do something good, you got to charge for it.
There's absolutely no point buying a Mercedes-Benz and putting a Briggs and Stratton engine in it.
I don't know. I think this cooler would probably work. Be Quiet makes decent stuff. I've heard of them a few times.
Looks
It's
more like
actually
a transformer. Where's the fan?
Looks like an air
Oh,
conditioner.
there. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fan, I'm not sure how this attaches. I don't see in any of the pictures the actual attachment to the CPU.
I guess you glue it.
Well, no, the weight is
Cool.
not supposed to be supported by the CPU. Definitely not. Usually it's right here in the picture. It's these little brackets. Okay. That solves that. So that would probably work fine. This person said, so here's another cool thing you can do. If we go here and we type in CPU benchmark compare, there's this other website called cpubenchmark.net that I also like to use. So if we want to compare two CPUs in terms of performance to each other, I'll put mine in here. My CPU is a Ryzen 5 1600. And then we add this one that we just put in here, Ryzen, was it a 9? Ryzen 9 5900. Okay.
Something or other.
And we hit compare, we can see in terms of performance what these two are like compared to each other. So my CPU has a score of 12,000, and the one Ian is getting has a CPU score of 39,000, which is quite a significant difference.
It's awesome because I usually never get a better score.
Yeah. No, this thing is that's a very good score. You
No
don't
more
get
mouse hesitation.
Yeah, you get a lot less of that. Here's you go. Here's your overall score, CPU value for dollar. So this one is kind of deceiving. It says value per dollar. So my CPU here has a better score per dollar than
It's only
this one we're
88
getting.
bucks. Yeah.
Building a race car here.
But this is kind of, you can almost ignore this because you could buy $1,000 CPU and then your score would be just way down here because it's the diminishing returns.
Yeah.
So this is a huge step up from what I have. It's not a giant amount more, so you can kind of more or less ignore this unless you're like going for the ultimate budget computer and you really want to get the last little squeeze every little penny out of the performance. Then that's when this would be useful. But
well, in general, not specifically for CPUs, but I'm sure it's the same. An increase of 5% in performance tends to cost about 95% of the original. Because everything's made for a level, and then if you want to increase that by just 5%, it's going to cost you 95% more.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sounds right. So yeah, that's why you kind of, and it's still not that bad. It's still not even that bad. I mean, what it is. It's totally worth it. Here's your single thread rating. So higher results mean better performance. My CPU is 2000, yours has 3400. It's just more. Here's your power consumption, different values like that. It'll cost you on average $19 to run this CPU per year. So yeah, this is just a cool. The reason I wanted to pull this up initially was because back here, somebody said that their i5, the CPU here, it was overkill for this CPU. So I want to compare that CPU to the one we're getting, and then we can know if it would be overkill for this one as well. So if I paste this in here, it's the i5. I probably have to type Intel. Hello?
The button on it not working right.
It doesn't like that I. Nothing comes up.
Oh, what would it be? Oh, you gotta type core probably. There we
There
go.
it is.
Where's my I? i5. So he had a 10.
It's 10th generation.
Okay, what was it? i5 10400.
10400.
Well, we didn't.
Why does it not? I don't know why this is not finding it, but I typed everything in like it wanted to.
Is there an extra space in there or something? No.
Maybe they just haven't tested the CPU.
There's a dash.
Really? Is it like
There's a dash
this?
between the i5, yeah.
Oh,
Don't forget the dash.
see
Yeah.
this should be able to
There it is.
this should be able to easily figure that out, but I guess they didn't program that in.
Better off to pick something out of a drop.
All right, so the Ryzen 9, okay, so that CPU is more or less the same as what I have. So this this cooler should work, because if it's overkill for that CPU, it should work. And the price is $40, and he's going to have a dryer vent or a air conditioner vent plugged right in the back. I mean, this cooler should be perfectly fine. So I'm going to add that to our list. So we are up to what? 567. So now we got to kind of conserve our money here, at least a little bit more. Video card, I wasn't going to put a video card in here because I was going to show another way to get a video card for less money. Because if you buy, so right now, there's a lot of video cards have gone down in price because of the cryptocurrency crash. So you can get a graphics card for cheap. And normally you don't want to do that, because that card, that you buy, if it's purchased from somebody who uses it for Bitcoin mining, that card would have run at high power, full tilt, like 24/7. And so that would kind of wear out your card, and you'd get a sort of worn out card. However, for this use that we would be using it for, I bet you we could find a used graphics card for very cheap that would have plenty of outputs and plenty of processing power for what we're doing. Because your only other option is to buy a card from like 2005. And we always run into one of the most frustrating things that happens when we're doing projects, with me and Ian are doing projects, is that we try and run a program and it turns out we have an outdated piece of hardware. And so many times it's turned out to be the graphics card. We were trying to run SDR++ on there. It turned out we couldn't because the graphics card was too old. I think we tried that on one of the Linux boxes. It always seems to be the graphics card, and that is just very frustrating. So if we can get something somewhat recent at a very good price, then I think we should absolutely do that. Even if the card has been worked like a dog in the past, it might sort of be worth it. And the other thing is that these cards are just going down in price right now. So you could buy another of the same card if that one fails for half the price, another half the price by the time you would be ready to buy one. So that's kind of a roundabout way of saying, once we add our card in here, the total may be higher than what the actual total for Ian would be. Anyway.
Do you think it might not just be better to buy two graphics cards that have two outputs each? Wouldn't that be just a lot cheaper?
Well, I don't think it would be cheaper. The main issue is if you buy a like bottom of the line, like a $30 graphics card with two outputs on it,
I don't want to do that.
You could buy 2 of those and it would work fine for day-to-day use. The issue comes, like I said, when we try and do a project that needs to run, Manicams may refuse to start because it doesn't like the graphics card, or like the problem we encountered with the video editor the other day. It wouldn't start because it didn't like the graphics card. That only happened because the card was not supported. So if we buy something that is really low end, that would work fine. It just becomes a problem whenever a piece of software doesn't support
understand it. I'm not wanting to go cheap. I'm just thinking to make it easier. I don't want to go cheap.
Right.
It's just, but I don't care if it's 1 card with 4 outputs or 2 cards with 2 outputs each. But I also know that if we're doing a bunch of old SVGA outputs and stuff, I don't know, we might want to look at other options.
That's the only scenario in which I think buying 2 cards would be superior, would be if we were using old cards. So I would say, because like even most cards have 4 outputs on them anyway.
Right.
Or 3 outputs. I mean, we can get you one that has 4 outputs on it for pretty cheap. And then you could add another one. If you find another one for sale that is cheap, you can add that, and then you have 8 outputs. So
Video outputs?
Yeah.
Could you just throw a video card in like now so that we got some idea what the price would be?
Yeah, so if we go to a video card here, and we can sort this by what we want. So like if we just look at what this sort of pre-populates here, we're looking at a lot of gaming cards. This one's $400, $700, $500, $700, $1,000. They're a lot of money and they have a lot of power that wouldn't be used. I mean, this is a RTX 3050, which I would love to have a 3050, but I know Ian would not get any use out of that. So that's why we got to kind of pick something here that costs less. Like if I sort by price low to high, this is the problem we run into. Here's a Pawnee. I don't know even how you say that. I think we have a couple of these exact cards here sitting in a drawer somewhere. Yeah, we do. This would work. It's got 3 outputs on it. The problem is as soon as you try and run a video editor, it's going to say, oh, this graphics card is not supported because this card was probably manufactured in like 2001.
Ouch.
So that's why I think we got to get something on.
We can go higher than that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is $50. But when earlier I was working on it and I just sort of added a bunch of threw a bunch of stuff together. And if we aren't careful with the graphics card, then the price would go over 1,000.
So what do we look
can
at?
Go a little over,
So what do we look at as far as the spec of a video card is?
Okay, so the main spec that matters the most is chipset. As a card gets older, games become more demand, or not games. Well, actually, yes, games. That's what all these are really built for, is games. So as the games get more demanding, the card sort of loses standing in terms of performance. Like if I look up a GTX 1050, that's a very popular card. Here we go. Like this card here is a 1050. When this originally came out, this was considered a mid-range to high-range graphics card. Now it's considered a low end because it's old. So it's kind of difficult to tell. There's not really like a number, unless you go to benchmarks. There's not really a number to tell you the performance. I mean, memory is here, core clock is here, boost clock is here. You have information like that, but it doesn't really help you the same way it does with a CPU.
No, because I was seeing the memory, some of the memories you had earlier on were like 16, 48 gig or whatever, really high. And then these are down to 4 gigs.
So the thing that helps with more memory is if you're running a game. I mean, these cards are designed for gaming, so everything is really going to be gaming related. But if you're running a game that just has a lot going on, you're going to need more VRAM. And so 4 gigabytes, 6 gigabytes is good. I think my card has 6 gigs. A lot of the newer ones have 12 gigs and 16 gigs, and those are better. So you can sort by memory, get something that has more. But like the stuff that Ian would do, we don't need a lot of memory. You could get by with 4 gig just fine.
You're basically saying stack the memory in the computer, not in the video.
Yeah, the graphics cards are just tough. Like a lot of the other components, you can look at the numbers and just pick something that has a high number, and it will be sort of the number will be related to performance. With graphics cards, you kind of just have to know. You just kind of have to know what you're looking for. You have to know the names of the cards. You have to know the history of the card, when it was released, stuff like that. So that's kind of why I can't give you a real straight answer on how to choose the performance of your card. What I would recommend Ian do is go to eBay and search for like I'm just gonna search graphics card. Oh yeah, I spelled that real nice.
Oops.
And maybe we'll find somebody who put a listing up with the spelling wrong, because that happens sometimes. Man, this is
Wow,
slow.
it's lightning fast.
Dude, this is so fast. What is going on?
It doesn't like you.
Doesn't like my search.
Your spelling, it's good.
No, that should have come up by now.
Did your internet go out, Ian? Man, what happened?
No, I'm on Zoom.
Yeah.
And I'm broadcasting on YouTube.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
And I've got my monitor coming back over here, so I know I've got good internet.
There we go.
Yeah, but you're sucking up your bandwidth.
Okay.
Oh, it helps when you spell it right.
Okay, we all know NVIDIA.
NVIDIA, yeah.
Yeah.
NVIDIA and AMD are the main things. They're really the only people who make high performance cards. The only difference is that there are a little like, I don't know what you want to call it. You have the manufacturer and then you have the vendor. So here's an RTX 3070, but it's sold by EVGA. So it's going to have EVGA's branding on it. Here's a Founders Edition, who's directly from the factory, and you can see the case looks a lot different. This is a different card, but so you may have two of the same card that look physically different and have different ports on them because they're sold by a different company. Like here's a Radeon. This one is straight from them, so it's got their branding on it. But I bet you could find here's a 1070 that looks completely different from the other 1070 we just saw. But what I would recommend Ian do here, and we can do this later, talk about this in the future because these listings might be gone. But I would come and I'd look at something like this. This is 145 bucks for a AMD Radeon RX 580. Not a super high-end card, but it would work much better. And it looks like we have 4 outputs on it. I think 2 of them are DisplayPort and 2 of them are HDMI. And we even have a DVI port, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, that is a DVI.
Unless those ports are blocked off, but it doesn't look like they are. I think I can see the port underneath that one right there. So I would recommend Ian get something like this. It's a lot cheaper than buying new and it has all the ports you want, and this would work just fine for our needs. Here's another one here. There's a lot of choices right now because of the Bitcoin crash. So anyway, back over to this. Let's look at memory. Memory is one of those things that you can sort of just pick because everything's more or less the same price, unless you want memory with lights on it. That's really the only difference. How much memory do you want, Ian? Do you want 16 or 32 or what?
It looks like I'll be able to maybe afford 32. I can go a little over 1,000.
Max
All
it out.
Max it out. All right, let's get 256 gigabytes. That's what
let's do. I think
Well,
32.
128 gigs, but
128 gigs. Now 32, you would 32 would be plenty. I have 16 and I've never come close to the limit. So let's see here.
using as 8. So
Let's sort here by, we want 2 times 16 gigabytes. So we have 32 gigs. So we have a couple different price points here. Let's sort this.
That's cheap.
Yeah, memory is usually not too bad. The stuff I bought was, I think I bought 16 gigs worth and I paid like $50 for it. And you can add
When I was building computers, it was a dollar a megabyte.
Now you get
a 32 megabyte stick back then was about $35.
Yeah,
now we're talking gigabyte.
Yeah, I know. We've added a couple of zeros.
Yeah,
I think this is what I have. Yeah, this is what I have on my computer. And this is like
Ooh.
not crazy anything, and this works perfectly fine. DDR4 clock speeds all look good. Most of these are going to be the same. I mean, there's slight differences. This says a clock speed of 3600 megahertz. This one is 26. That's kind of low, actually. I would probably. Oh wait, I forgot. These probably have that setting. Mine are default at like 2600, but if you go into BIOS, there's just setting to change it to a much higher number.
And I used to have a buddy of mine that he'd overclock everybody's computer, which is fine if you only want to get another year out of it. It's like anything else. If you drive your car like a jackass, it's going to be a great car for 18 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you get what you get.
I've messed with overclocking. I've successfully overclocked it. And I just I didn't feel like the improvement in performance was really worth the higher temperatures and trouble to sit there fine tuning it. So I just don't do it anymore.
Well, because no matter how good it runs, it's only going to be as fast as your smallest bottleneck.
And the thing is, if you look at videos of people taking their memory and or their CPU, we're gonna overclock from 5.8 to 5.9, and then they go in the game that they're playing, and it's like 400 FPS with the overclock. It's 410 FPS. It's like the difference is, it doesn't really matter most of the time.
Which I'm going to say something now that gamers will complain about, but most of this stuff is all beyond our visual perception anyway. I understand that, you know, a really good monitor is great, but man, when you start getting into hundreds and hundreds of frames per second, you're starting to get beyond human perception at this point.
It is somewhat true.
Perception is at 24 or 30 frames per second.
Well, that's very much so not true.
Yeah, we used to always be taught that humans see at 32 frames a second, and they have disproved that later on. I'm talking about when we get into hundreds and hundreds of frames per second. I know that my old ass doesn't see more than about 30 frames a second. So.
Well, I mean, you're right about at a certain point, it's just diminishing return, just like anything else.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I can tell you going from a 60 hertz monitor to a 144 hertz monitor was like night and day. Like if I go back to a 60 hertz monitor now, it feels kind of slow and sort of sluggish, but on this thing, everything feels like crazy, buttery smooth and snappy. And then like esports players who like play first person shooters where they have to have millisecond response times will go for like 240 hertz or even up to like 500 hertz refresh rates. But you're absolutely right. I mean, if a game is running or a program is running at 400 frames per second, not only can your monitor not output above 60 or whatever you have, but it's not going to be any smoother. So that's why overclocking, unless your computer can't handle a game without the overclock, it's not really worth it. And I haven't encountered that yet. So,
and I'll never need that. So yeah,
you'll never need that.
I would not push my equipment harder than it needs to be pushed. I do plenty of that from the front end.
Yeah, you won't need that at all. And
all right, so now we're down to storage. I definitely want solid state storage.
Oh yeah. So what
I'll never go back to a banger hard drive again. I can.
Me either. I'm enjoying my solid state.
If you guys have not gotten a solid state drive for your computer, that should probably be the next thing you do, because it'll actually add about 4 or 5 years of age back to your computer. Because the slowest thing in your computer right now, I guarantee, is that old banger in there, banging away.
That old spinning hard drive.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sorry, Joseph, as they get older, those old spinning hard drives, the performance does continue to decrease the whole time it's working, right up to the point that you lose everything you own on it.
Well, I just upgraded everything.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go. Sorry.
So I have a question for you, Ian. There's two different types of drives. Am I still looking at? No. Okay. There's two different kinds of drives you can put in here. So you're probably used to the SATA style of drive, which is like a big rectangle and it's got two plugs on it. It's what all your computers probably have.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But you can go with a M.2 drive, which is a more recent style of drive that mounts directly on the motherboard. Like here's one. The only downside to doing this would be if you ever had to take the drive out of the computer and plug it into another machine to get data off of it or something like that, and you did not have another M.2 slot, you may have to get an adapter for it.
I can live with that.
I think you'd save money this way and get a higher quality. I mean, Samsung NVMe drives are really good.
It's incredible.
I think. Oh yeah, these are the most recent and fastest. I think Samsung makes really good stuff. I haven't heard anything bad about Samsung.
Got a 95% rating.
Samsung, Western Digital are good.
Western Digital, they make good stuff.
God, I've been buying their stuff for 30 years.
Crucial makes good things.
Crucial's fine.
It's Crucial we mentioned that.
Yeah, Crucial. I don't know. So it just kind of depends on, like, with this sort of thing, I think going with a name brand is better because it's going to probably last longer. I mean, you can see here the Samsung stuff is like $250. Here's one though that is 1 terabyte, and the cache. This thing is interesting too. The cache here, as far as I know, the way this works is if you copy a file, it will fill up the cache first. So like if you copy a file from a hard drive to your SSD, the transfer speed will be like 80 megabytes a second until that cache is full, and then it will slow down to like 20 megabytes a second. So if you like wanted to do really crazy fast file transfers, you might get something with a really big cache. I think that's how that works, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. This one looks pretty good. This one's made by Samsung. It's an Evo.
I got a question. How many slots do I have?
So on your motherboard?
Yeah, can we look at that? Because that's something where I could get a tear now and I could put a 2 tear in later.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
3 of them.
Well, you have on that board, you have like 4 SATA slots. So you could put in, now the thing about these boards is when you put an M.2 drive in there, it actually will occupy one of your SATA slots. So it sort of counts as a drive either way, whether or not it's plugged in or not.
Is that them stacked up in the middle there?
No, that's where you plug in your memory. So your memory goes there. Graphics goes here. This is your M.2 drive slot right here. This gray bar in the middle.
Okay. Yeah. I know it.
It looks like you have, there's 3 SATA slots on here. So you could plug in, if you were to go this route, you could plug in 3 total drives into this machine.
You put your operating system on the NVMe drive and then put your storage in the SATA drives.
Yes, that is the way to go. That's what I do. So this is a 1 terabyte drive though. So that's plenty of storage and plenty of speed for your operating system. So you have a total of 4 slots on here. So you could plug in a total of 4, you could plug in a total of 3 drives at once, but you have 4 slots.
So you're saying that motherboard has got a drive on it already?
It has, so there's 2 different kinds of drives. There's the kind that plugs in through a cable here on the side, and then there's the kind that mounts directly on the board. If you put a drive directly on the board, it turns off one of the slots on the side.
So is that a memory card plugged in there already?
No, it's just that's just a little cover. It's got a little.
It's just a blank. Okay, keep the dust out. I'm with you.
Yeah. It's actually a heat sink, so the drive gets a little warm, and there's some thermal tape on there, and it keeps the drive cool. Okay, so where are we at? We were at storage. So I would just probably pick a more or less one of these Samsung ones. Probably this one here at the top seems good enough. It's got 277 5-star reviews. Can't really go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Plus it's a terabyte drive, which you might as well do.
Yeah, that's gonna be plenty of really fast storage. My system is running off a 1 terabyte SSD. I haven't even come close. I'm not even halfway full of stuff, and I hoard data really bad.
It's like this laptop's got.
Well, the thing is, we reached a point where you're not saving that much money by going to a half tear. You're just not saving that much money. You might as well just get the terabyte, because that's the standard size right now, I think.
The bigger drives are supposedly faster anyway. That's what I've heard.
I kind of want to check something. I want to see if it's actually more expensive to get less storage.
It
does eventually do that.
If I put it at 500 gigabytes, Yeah.
It's a third of the price.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
mean,
not half
the
price.
it saves me $25. I'm
Yeah.
willing
Yeah.
to spend the $25 to get that
Extra
to get that other
500.
half a tear, right?
Yeah.
The way
Yeah.
I've always bought hard drives was to figure out the price point where the cost per megabyte starts going up.
That's a good way to do it.
That's the way I always have done it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, you have to work now to find a smaller drive, which I'm fine
Yeah.
with because I have extra storage.
Well, look, if it was only for $50 more for a 2 tear, I might be interested.
Yeah.
Let's check that out then.
Yeah,
See
really.
if we can find one with.
You've got,
Like I said, I can go a little bit over here.
well, there's the same drive, but it's called the Plus.
Gives you growing room.
I think I selected the plus. All right, let's put in. No, wait, that's not right.
You got some 500 gigs. What's your?
But you want to go for the same amount of cash, so you want to be like for like.
Put in 1,000,000 gigabytes.
Capacity. Here we go. Let's see what this is like. 8 gigabyte. There, that's what we need. Oh my goodness, a 20 terabyte drive. Okay, well that's not a solid state
And
drive.
that's still not. Oh, it's not.
No, that's a hard drive.
It's a spinner.
I'm never buying a banger again.
We gotta scroll down here.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
If you go back to that first page,
Spinner would be a good thing, but not
where you selected the one Samsung. If you
Okay.
go down from the one, I think only about 3 or 4 different models down, there was a 2 gig.
2 terabyte. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's That's $100 more though.
Yeah, okay, so that's what it is. So you're paying twice. That's the same drive. It's a 970 Evo Plus. It's still got a 1024 megabyte drive. So you're paying double for twice.
Yeah, anything over a terabyte, you're basically doubling.
Yeah.
Which we've reached that. The 1 terabyte is that price point Rick was talking about.
Yeah. That seems to be the best value for money because you can go and buy another terabyte and put it in it, or for the same money, or or you could go.
It makes more sense to me right now to buy a 1 terabyte.
Yeah.
Wait another year till they come down again, and then buy my 2 terabyte and stick it next to it.
Yeah, that's the best idea. Well, look at this. It even says price per gigabyte. So the one that we picked was 1 cent or 1.5. Is that 1.5 cents? Yeah, 1.5 cents per gig. And the 2 terabyte is 13 cents per gig. No, sorry. No, wait, that's right. Okay, this is 10.5 cents a gig, and this is 13 cents a gig.
Right.
So that's
not
the
a lot in
difference.
it, is there? Yeah.
No. So going with just a 1
is perfect.
What makes the most sense.
Sweet spot.
That's your price point right there, where it breaks.
The sweet spot.
Everything over that gets more expensive, and everything under that doesn't save you much.
Yeah, that's interesting how it has a point. It's really fascinating how there's like this one set of hardware where everything is priced super economically. If you go above or below, you start losing money.
Yeah.
Well, they're all kind of that way. Even processors, I'm sure, are that way. When you get into the very, very fast ones, but it's the same thing if you start trying to get the lower end ones too. I bet you would find that with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But
memory
anyway.
is the same way.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, let's. Are we skipping the video card for now?
Well, we can put one in here, but that was just what I was saying earlier. You'd be better off going to eBay and getting something used like this for much cheaper than buying new. This is 145 or best offer. You could offer them 130 or 115 or something.
724 sold.
Yeah, I guess he's got a lot. So this is kind of what I'd recommend. We might want to look a little bit more through see what's available here, but I wouldn't buy something new in this during this current time with the prices the way they are and the use the computer will have and everything. We can add one in here just to have it, but then it's going to make our total.
Well, let's just add one that's about the price of what I'm going to spend. So
$200.
Yeah, just add one that's $200, and then we'll. I'm going to buy one of those ones we looked at.
Yeah, because some of us are looking at this to buy their own. There you go. There's one. XS Speed Star.
Yeah, that's probably real fast. It's based off an RX 4000. So like that's not bad. So this card here, this one was like the big the big powerful card back in 2016, I think, around that time. So this card here would perform just fine, and it would be supported by a lot of software. I mean, the video editor would definitely probably support that. Anything we would try and do would support that for many years to come. And that's 195. So we can just, that's about the price. We can add that. And I mean, you could buy that actual card new if you wanted. Just gonna be a little bit more money. So there's the card. The next thing we got to do is pick a case. Now you don't want a big flashy case.
No, as a matter of fact, I want a case that's big enough to work in, but small enough that it can be small on my desk. So I'm not looking for a big, huge case.
Right.
But,
okay.
But I also don't want to get some micro mini piece of crap that I can't work in. You know, these new cars, you lift the hood, you can't work on nothing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But I also don't need it to be like a 68 Buick either.
So the style of motherboard we chose was an ATX, which is the full-size motherboard.
Yeah.
So if we choose, like, if we had chosen micro ATX or something like that, then we can get like really small stuff. But
I want full size. I just don't need oversized.
Right. So we need to pick something here that is, I mean, they're all going to kind of be the same size, but there are some that are like really wide. I don't have a whole lot of experience looking for cases.
And
See if they have mine.
And I'm not picky. I want it to be black. I want it to not have any pretty lights. God, it's hard for me to say that. It is. It's hard. It doesn't come off the lips right. It's.
Yeah, a lot of these have lights built in. This one has got RGB fans built in. And if you notice, like, I think all of these have tempered glass on the side. So even if you spend $50 on a case, it's still going to have that glass panel.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I just don't want to spend. I don't want to spend the money on the case. I want to spend the money on the engine and the transmission.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Let's
so they
look
don't
here.
make cases like the old ones then. It's got
They-
tempered glass. Oh, there's acrylic glass. They've all got glass.
Well, this one
for
has.
another.
This one actually has no side window. Huh. I stand corrected.
And virtual COM ports may be here to stay.
Yeah, I think that's a nice looking case.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Call me old fashioned, but I think that's a nice looking
Right.
case.
And it's got looks like 3 USB ports on the front. It's got micro audio in and out. It's got a reset button and a power button. I think it actually still has a hard drive light. That's kind of cool. So I mean,
How 19 whatever.
this would work fine probably.
Looks a bit geekish though. Looks a bit kind of industrial.
It does.
like
It sort of looks. It's
Clunky.
reminiscent. Yeah, it's reminiscent of like the Chinese trying to look cool design, but
Looks like a
That would look good inside the TARDIS, wouldn't it?
There you go.
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
That's what my next shed needs to be, is a TARDIS.
Oh yeah, me too.
That way, because I want the outside to be 6 by 6, and I want the inside to be 44 by 110.
Yeah.
Oh, we got some Daleks flying over my house right now.
Some what?
Otherwise, Daleks, the enemy of Doctor Who, but otherwise helicopters.
Sorry, not a Who guy.
Helicopters. Is
Oh,
what
come
it
Who?
on. Seriously?
The Black Hollow.
Who?
Seriously? You're not a Hugh guy? There we go.
oh, wow.
Every
I
time,
like
it's
that.
funny. I get
Now,
Trey with
looks
that.
that looks better.
That's bad.
Every time Trey starts talking about the World Health Organization, I always open my mic and go, "Who?"
Ooh, yeah.
I get in with that every time.
That looks like a teabag bikini.
What, this thing?
Is that metal or some kind of ABS? It looks nice.
It's probably.
It's pretty neat.
I don't know what that is.
Look, the cheapest case now still looks cooler than the best case I used to buy 20 years ago when I was building.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Corduroy.
I quite like that. What was that one? I like the look of that one.
This one here,
No, the one we
Air-
just had.
the Airco. This one.
Yeah, how much is that?
This one's 47,
No, that's
48.
reasonable. Yeah.
48
And that
bucks.
comes with a power supply that'll run my thing.
No, so the
Oh,
case
they
does
don't.
not come with a power supply. You
No, they
put
don't.
it
Oh,
down
they
here.
used to, the cases used to all come with power supplies 20
Yeah.
years ago. You
They used
see
to
what
come
I
with
learned?
motherboards. Yeah.
Before they
Yeah.
had
And
a
speakers.
750
They
watt
used to come
supply.
with speakers and
Yeah,
mounting hardware and
now all you get is,
Ooh, the ratings aren't really good on some of them.
well, like if we look at this one, this was the $48 one.
Yeah, that's
The actual
Chinese Darth
reviews.
Vader.
This one says it was not that bad. No PSU shroud. It has fans built in.
I looked up a part the other day, and the first comment said 1 star. It said, "I wish I could leave 0 stars. I wouldn't piss on this if it's on fire." That's literally what the comment said, and I laughed for like 5 minutes. I couldn't stop
must
laughing.
have been made out of aluminum foil.
yeah.
Oh my god!
So he liked it.
Yeah, I should have responded. So you're not? It's not so bad.
Yeah.
So recommend or no? Make up your mind.
Yeah.
So what do you got picked out?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you want to go with the cheapest of the cheap, this one here, we can absolutely do that. The difference is, so the one thing cases do come with is the buttons on the front and fans. A lot of them will come with fans. And the review I saw for this one said that the fans were not quite, well, this one says the thermals, it gets a little warm, but you're going to have a supreme cooling. So that probably doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll probably do most of the time, the fans blow out.
Well, you have so the case is supposed to be designed, or you're supposed to set it up so that you have fans pulling air in the front and exhausting out the back.
Right.
So,
and I'll hook my
way.
tube up to whichever's sucking in.
Well, what you should do, we should get a case that has vents in the back of it, and then you blow air in through the back with your big hose, and then have the fans in the front exhaust the air out.
Right.
Because then you have no big hose in the front of the computer, but it would do the same thing.
Oh, there's a red one.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
that
that. Is that like hard disk space where those
Bad.
little red digit things are? Is that supposed to be hard disk? Those there?
I'm sure those are expansion ports for a CD drive. I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
It might be. I don't know.
How
You mean a
2006?
DVD drive?
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
don't make CD drives anymore.
Yeah, I mean the round spinny laser thingy.
Yeah, right.
I mean, this what
Perfect
that one
frisbee.
other reviewer said about this one was that it was very difficult to get the motherboard in.
Oh. that's
So
not good.
I don't
we
like.
might
I was
want to
gonna
go with
ask that.
something slightly different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know-
because by the time I get to the hammer, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. Maybe you should go to the next size up because this is MIDI ones we're looking at, isn't it?
Well, Corsair
Yeah.
is a great company that makes stuff, and the prices are not. I mean, this is like $20 more than the cheapest of the cheap, and you're going to get a better experience.
Well, these are mid towers.
Yeah. Let's have a look at one.
Here's the thing, Joseph. Honest to Christ, if it's going to be tight at all, just buy the next size up. I don't want it to be hard to put stuff in there.
Okay.
I'm getting too old for that.
Well, any size we get, I'm not exactly sure what the difference between mid tower and.
Well, it used to be you could buy a bigger motherboard with 4 more expansion ports on it, and you had to buy a tall tower. But
So
that's 25-year-old information, though.
I just don't know the difference between full tower and mid tower. I'm guessing full tower is more
It's
Bigger?
taller.
It's taller.
taller, but it would
Yeah.
still fit in a mid tower. So where's the extra space go? I guess the extra space is just good to have for
Yeah.
cable management and bigger coolers and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
all your
I
liquid
probably don't
cooling
need-
and all that crap.
I don't
What
think
is
I need a
mine?
full tower, but I think I definitely the mid tower. I don't want to go with anything smaller than that.
I have a Corsair. Oh, what is the name of mine? I want to say it's a 20. I want to say it's that because I want to know what my, yeah, that's my case right there. Oh, that's only $80. I want to know, it's a mid tower. Is it? Because I want to know what I have so I can reference against the other stuff.
And you can work on yours easily, get the motherboard in and out. And
So
All
I have
that
a
stuff.
mid tower.
okay.
My computer is a mid tower, and I have plenty of space for moving stuff around in there.
I like that, but there's no USB ports on the front.
They're on the top. They're
Ooh.
up here.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
They're right up here.
I always like to have USB ports so I can put a flash drive on it.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
I
yeah.
like on the front. Yeah.
And this one's got the glass on the side, but this is the one I was really thinking would be good.
That's pretty
Well,
slick.
why it might be good for Ian, because the vents, if we look, if I can get a picture of the back of it. Here we go. So you could stick your big old hose right on this fan.
I thought this was a family oriented.
So which end
Oh, boy.
sucks and which end blows?
So it doesn't matter because you can switch the fans around. So whichever direction you want the airflow to be, you can make it be that way.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So this, I think this case, and it's $80. It's about 40 more than the other style, but I have used this case. So it just depends on what you want. If you want the cheaper one, we can do that. And we
No,
can,
I'm fine with this one here.
Yeah,
I
like
think
the
this
look of
one,
that
I think you should get
I
this
like
one.
it. It's sleek.
Yeah.
I like the plugs on the top because the two
Me
ways
too.
I may end up putting this under my desk, and if I do, the plugs on top would actually work out best.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm going to plug most things into the back if I can. I always try to save those plugs on the front for when I'm bench testing and when I'm plugged, the extra sound card or whatever.
Yeah.
I
And
try
you've
not
got,
to
you
ever
can put
use that
stickers
stuff.
on the front as well.
Yeah, I've got a Yaesu sticker on mine.
There you go.
Is that mine?
Front.
Okay, we'll go for that one then.
Is that the same one? I don't think it's the same. I don't know. No, that's different.
Oh yeah, it's got a Lara.
Why
on
don't
it.
they? Why don't they have the? They don't have the. They don't have this one on PC Part Picker. That's funny. Did I put a? Maybe I put some kind of filter on here to make it not show up. Oh no, it's here. That's what I have.
Cheaper.
Yeah,
It
there it
yeah,
is.
it's cheaper.
There it is.
So that's a good case. That's why I have. Also, if you get something I already have, that helps with tech support because I have it physically here.
You know it.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah.
You look at it.
Well, it's been tested.
Yes, it's been
You
tested.
fitted a power supply, you fitted a motherboard, you fitted fans.
So we're
Yeah,
over.
everything has already been all the kinks have already been figured out.
Yeah.
So what are we up to now? We're up to 1,000, and the only component we have left to get is the power supply, and that should not be more than like $80. So we're right on the edge here. And that's with the card too. The card will probably cost a lot less. So the power supply, this is one where I have a Corsair power supply in mine. It said the estimated wattage that this would consume was 300 watts. So we just got to get like any power supply.
500, yeah.
500 watt, 650 watt. We don't need to
It's
pay
always
extra.
well, it's always good to get one that's plenty big enough.
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
want a few
and
more.
your CPU consumes power, graphics card consumes power, motherboard takes power, and if you start adding more like hard drives and peripherals and a whole bunch of stuff plugged into the USB ports, I mean, USB.
Well, I was
is not
going to
that
say
much,
that's
but-
what most people don't calculate is every one of those USB points is a power supply for something else.
Yeah.
Because my screen fizzes out sometimes. Well, you've got your screen plugged into a USB multi-plug with a fan and a light and all this crap that doesn't even need to be plugged into your computer, using up your power. I know
Yeah.
with my laptop, I have a power strip in the back that's powered from a separate power supply. And I do that because if I don't, my screens start getting weird and things don't work right because I'm draining way too much power off the laptop.
Yeah, you want to have plenty of headroom. I mean, so we can go if we were, 850 watts is massively overkill, and you can see the
Yes.
price there is more.
I
We
would say
really,
five-
realistically,
650 is plenty.
650 is probably what we want to go with.
Yeah, 500 to 600, 650 would be.
750, 650.
Yeah, there's a 550 there on the same price as 650. So 650 for 105 bucks seems like a good buy.
550 almost cost. I have a Corsair in mind. Power supplies are one thing that you don't want to super cheap out on, because these are the things that explode in somebody's computer and burn their house down if you get something that's really crappy.
Well,
they've all got 5-star ratings.
Plus, if you're going to leave the machine on all the time, which you probably will do, particularly in winter months, you definitely want to have a good supply.
Yeah, so you want one that's not going to get, maybe 700 then might be a better bet, 750.
Well, the head
good price.
Let's see. This is funny. This is a 400-watt power supply, but it's $371. But we can get more power for less money. Here's a 450 for $50. But we want a little bit more power than that. So we want something 650.
I'd go bigger than that. Yeah.
650 should leave plenty of overhead for anything.
Yep.
And this can also be upgraded later. That's the great thing about building, is that if this someday becomes not enough power, and you're ready to buy another power supply.
So what's the semi and full mean on the right-hand side there?
This means, I believe, the cables. Yeah, so modular means that you can only use the cables you need. This one is not modular. And what that means is you'll just, if there's cables that are unused, you'll just have to coil them up inside the case.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like a fully modular one will just, they cost a little bit more, but they kind of just make everything a little bit more tidy. Semi-modular means some of the plugs are extras, some aren't.
I don't mind extra plugs.
Yeah, modular.
What's the gold and bronze then?
That is your efficiency.
Plugs are not enough.
That is your efficiency rating. So the higher efficiency, the cheaper it is to run, the more efficient it is. So
well, there's a Corsair CXF 650. It's bronze, and it's $84.
It's 650 watts, and it's full.
That'd probably be perfect right there.
Yeah.
Let's make sure the reviews don't say it burned somebody's house down. I don't think it would. Corsair is a reputable company, so
they're good stuff.
One thing I would recommend doing is just taking this and Googling it, because if there's some kind of recall or outbreak of blowing up power supplies, this is how you would find it. But I don't see anything right away, so yeah, this is probably fine. There's people making videos about it and stuff. There was one power supply that I saw when I was building mine that had a real bad issue with it, where it would start blowing up, and found out about that real quick just by doing this. I don't see any headlines saying Corsair power supply burned somebody's house down, so I think we're fine.
Is there anything
they
RFI?
Power supply.
RFI.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I don't really have any way of telling. I don't know, more efficient may be better. I mean, I have this in my computer, and I've done tests where I switched the power supply off.
So I guess it's a switch mode power supply.
I guess. I'm not really sure what else it would be.
Well, it could be an analog, just a regular.
Let's see what this would be, what their actual website has to say about it. Maybe they'll tell us what exactly it is. I mean, I have a Corsair power supply. It's a similar one to this, and I've done tests where I've switched off the supply, and I haven't seen really any difference in my waterfall on any band. So generally, I guess these are okay.
So technical spec.
Was there a shortcut to that somewhere? Guess I gotta scroll down. Oh, wait. Tech specs. Let's see. Are they going to give us more information? They do. Okay.
Oh, we got that weight again, 1.3.
So important.
Yeah.
How is it all grayed out?
Well, it doesn't say what technology it uses, but it's probably switch mode, if I had to guess.
Rifle bearings. Now, when was the last time I had a rifle that had a bearing in it?
I have no idea.
I
have no idea.
We used to send rookies to go buy muffler bearings and spark plugs for the diesel truck at the
yeah, you really
store.
Missed out. You should have been sending them for rifle bearings.
Oh, and the other thing, blinker fluid.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That was
Or
kind of
ID
like when I was
Those
at
fire
Base
trucks
Rep.
use a lot of blinker fluid.
Yeah.
ID10Ts,
Yeah.
ID10T forms.
Joke's on you. They have it now.
Was like
Oh
when I was in,
wow!
Oh
when I
yeah.
was in the
That'll
Air
make my
Force.
turn. That'll make my turn signals blink like crazy.
Blinker fluid.
You can get
My
it from
God, it's
Walmart.
18 bucks.
And it's Walmart, of course.
It's a gag
Blinker
gift. I love it. I didn't know they actually made the gag gift.
Yep, they sure did. See, this is how you
put
pull
it.
it in.
You gotta put it. You gotta put it in each light.
About the magic smoke.
Good for up to 6,000. Oh yeah, magic smoke. I wonder if they have that because
Yeah, that's what we need.
6,000 blankets.
Magic smoke.
magic
There we
smoke
go.
refill.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. You can put it back in your wires.
All you gotta do is buy a Chinese radio.
Oh, we've got magic blue smoke. Well, that's not
Ooh.
market. Oh, look
Oh.
at that. Oh, you got, oh, wow. You've got an actual syringe to do it.
Oh my god! So
You
I can
could-
fix my Chinese radios that I've smoked.
Yeah, we could make a fortune at the next
I mean, because there's the
Amfest.
only thing wrong with these radios is the magic smoke came out.
Yeah. You could make a fortune at Hamfest with that.
You know
Oh,
what's
yeah.
wrong with your Chinese radios? You just don't let them speak Chinese.
Yeah, I know.
Well, they probably still do, even though the smoke's out.
My
There we
wife
go.
used to hate it. I'd sit there with a bofeng in Chinese mode and go, try. I don't doing all the way. I don't doing. I don't doing. I don't doing. I don't. She goes, I'm gonna break that thing.
That's IBM. I mean, that's.
I found IBM brand magic smoke refill. Look at this. It says diagnose and remove damage component, install new components. Wow, this is super useful stuff. Man, I need to get some of that.
I want a
There's
big.
not
I want a
really
big.
anything
I want
in
a.
that tank.
I want a big M cylinder of it. That way I can refill everything.
That would be nice. That's what every shack needs some magic smoke refill.
Yeah.
Now all my stuff already comes pre-smoke filled, right? I don't have to buy the smoke.
Well, you know, it's like an air conditioner. Sometimes you have to recharge it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good power supply. I think that'll be perfectly fine. So what's our total? Ooh, 1,100
I can
bucks.
probably handle that. I can probably handle that, and we don't need
But we
sound
got
cards.
that and
Now, is there an onboard sound card? I really don't care
Yes.
because they're $10 a piece. But
Yes, these have an onboard sound card. I can go back to the motherboard web page here.
You gonna put your own OS on?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Now there's a button there to buy your OS. We're not going to use that. No, these definitely have it. If you look here on the I/O panels, they have all the ports here. You can audio in and out. It even has SPDIF output if you have like an optical system for.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I got one of those somewhere.
oh yeah, if you got it, you get it. A lot of monitors have an optical input.
Yeah, no, you definitely have audio in and out, and network and everything you would need. I think.
But it doesn't have Bluetooth.
No
So-
Bluetooth, no Wi-Fi.
So
Don't
you have
care.
to have
Don't want.
Well, you have to have a wired keyboard and mouse.
Yes, everything I have is wired. I don't like wireless.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay.
No, I don't like wireless. I don't mind the wires. I don't mind a few wires.
I don't like wires on my mouse.
I mean, I don't know if you guys can see
I
this,
do
but
like the wireless
if
keyboard.
you guys can see this on my, is my camera up?
I prefer-
Yeah.
Oh no, it's
For easy.
well. Here, hold on. Let me stop this for just a second here, and I'll show you guys something.
Great.
If you guys can see here in the shack, I've got my keyboard trays in. I've got one here for this one and one here for this one. So, and right here in the corner, you can't see it, but right here in the corner, I've got my little controller, and the controller tells the box which to send the mouse control and the keyboard control to. So that one keyboard that you see right here on my pullout, that one keyboard actually controls 4 different computers, 1 Pi and 3 Windows machines. And then this one here is going to be hooked to this new computer when it comes in. Right now it's hooked to my laptop. And then I'm putting another one over here that's going to have 4 on it over there. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I've got 2 of the drawers in. Things are progressing slowly. Anyway, let's get back to what we were doing here. All right, we're sharing again.
I was just looking to see what it had to say about your audio. I have a Gigabyte motherboard as well. Not this exact model, but it does definitely have built-in audio. High-end audio capacitors.
The high end are the best.
Just-
That's the best end.
Just the capacitors.
Yeah, just the capacitors are high-end.
The rest is crap.
These high-end audio capacitors, these high-quality capacitors help deliver high-resolution and high-fidelity audio to provide the most realistic sound effects for gamers. Audio resolution has not been a problem since like 2000.
Obviously, when they stopped using chips and ended up using capacitors, that's when it got good.
Oh boy! It also has
I guess.
an audio noise guard that essentially separates the board's sensitive analog audio components from potential noise pollution at the PCB level. Whoa! It's got built-in filtering. That's amazing. Yeah, these websites will always talk up, like it'll have some ridiculous feature and they're like, this is the best thing ever. And it's just like the most.
Yeah, because nobody else has got it.
Yeah, it's like
I hate it's all false advertising. I get so sick of it. It's like we got these attorney ads we're playing right now, and the guy comes on, he says, listen, here's how we do it. Here's how we do it. We won't charge you any money unless we win.
Yeah.
Isn't that a good idea? And it's like, you dumbass, attorneys have been doing that since the 40s. Where have you been? You know,
they only charge you like 40%.
I'll tell you another one I hate. No cholesterol. How many things, remember back when that was a big deal 20 years ago? No cholesterol. Most things that said no cholesterol never had cholesterol to begin with. Yeah. They're now doing this thing where they non-GMO. There's nothing that says what that means, so you can just print it on there if you want to.
Make up something.
You really can. I mean, it's the whole thing is
gluten.
Gluten's another one.
For like 5,000 years, bread has been good. All of a sudden, bread's not good for you.
That's right. And gluten-free. Everything's gluten-free now. If you walk through Publix, you get to the light bulbs. You look up, there's light bulbs, gluten-free.
Gluten-free, yeah.
Everything in the entire store is gluten-free. I don't understand.
I've got a bit of a challenge for you.
What if you're a gluten addict? You really got a problem.
Yeah. Well, I've got a challenge for you. That's basically like, find some gluten-free chips. Eat the chips, but also eat the box that they come with. And see if you can see which is the better, and B, if you can actually identify the difference between the two.
At least the box is biodegradable.
Yeah, and it will bunch of anyway.
Same as true of some cereals,
Yeah,
the bag and the box are better than the cereal.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, what's those Triscuits? I swear to God, the box tastes better.
I don't like Triscuits. They taste weird.
They do, don't they?
It's the way to eat the box.
Yeah.
They're cheesy. They're cheesy toasted pieces of crap. I don't like them.
You could be a termite. Yeah.
They taste like they've been painted.
I mean, there's a few chips I'll eat. Like if I'm walked up to a snack machine and I have to get something out of it, I'll usually go for like the what do they call it, the crunchy Cheetos or something. But I don't normally eat chips. I'm not a big chip person.
No, normally. Do you ever have Doritos? God, the mess they make of your hands, and it doesn't wash off. It doesn't wash off.
You buy something to eat with your fingers, and then you complain about the crap on your fingers.
Exactly.
Well, haven't you seen that commercial?
You got to get out there with a wire brush on your fingers to get the stain out.
That's kind of like looking for a grease-free fried chicken.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, they got a commercial like that because and the father stands there with a UV light, and the family's holding their hands out, and he passes the UV light, and it starts glowing in their hands. Okay, who took my Doritos?
Yeah. Yeah. And those little boxes of Pringles, why do they come with that top on, the lid on?
Oh, you don't know that story?
The little one.
Oh, the little ones. Okay.
Yeah, no, the big one I can kind of understand, but the little one,
Well, they
why
wanted to
would
be
that
they
ever
wanted to
have
be
a
a
top
tennis
on it?
ball company.
Oh, okay. But I was going to say, well, you know, the little Pringles, you can't not eat that whole packet.
Oh
The
yeah.
little one. So
What is
why does
that?
it come with a lid? Yeah, I mean, you know.
Yeah, the little short
that's
ones they
the
have at the
ones.
gas station.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like 2 minutes of snacking time off of
Yeah.
that.
You nearly finished them before you get to the car.
It's for one tennis ball.
Yeah. No, I've thought about getting those before, but they're just so ridiculously small.
Yeah.
The one good thing is that you wouldn't have to stick your whole arm in the container to get the last Pringles.
Yeah.
I want you guys to think of something. Pringles are the press board of potato chips. Think about that.
Yeah.
They sweep up what's left and they press them into what looks like a potato chip.
Yeah, probably.
Oh yeah,
They do the same thing with wood. They chip up wood and then they press it into something that looks like it used to look.
And they call it particle board.
After they run a dump truck over.
Man, look, we can order Pringles from Staples. Do you want to spend $50 on a pack of 72 tiny Pringle from Staples?
There's 6 Pringles inside.
New, bigger package now with 6 Pringles.
Why don't they break?
I don't know. Well, if you order so you can order Pringles off Amazon, and the reviews are hilarious because they always say the Pringles arrived in crumbs because they get destroyed in shipping.
Yeah.
And everybody's just left with a Pringle powder.
Pringle bits.
Look, the only package that hasn't been abused in transit is the one that hasn't been transited yet.
Yeah. But I'll tell you the one that is really good is those pretzel bits. I really like those. You know, like the tiny little bits of pretzel.
Oh, like
And they got a jalapeno one. Oh my God.
And coming up in the next hour on the Food Network.
Welcome to the Southwest Florida TechNet. There we're talking about Pringles. Here we go. All chips broken. Never buy from Amazon.
You bought Pringles through the mail.
Yeah. I like the
What were you thinking?
Pathetic. Chips are broken and powdered.
Really
Oh no, this
no. Chinese.
They were very displeased.
That says chips suck real bad, Joe.
Yeah.
Baofeng Pringles.
Baofeng Pringle.
They do break down to
Pringles, the official chip of the Baofeng plant in China.
yeah.
Because that's all they have to eat.
That plant's like 12 blocks long.
Like I said, those fragments get any smaller, they'd be sniffing them. You know?
I don't think they can afford that. They make $1 a year or something over there.
Hey, if that person sent it through the mail again, he could snort it.
Yeah.
There's a thought.
Yeah.
Up you
Just
small
draw it,
as those.
mainline it like they do cocaine.
Oh,
Can you imagine? Snort Doritos.
Oh,
What a mess!
The experience expressed on tonight's telecast are not necessarily those of the TechNet or its affiliates.
Let's see. I want to see if they come destroyed. Oh, look at this. This is our flavor. It's radio frequency.
Oh,
We get RF flavored Doritos.
wow.
Oh my goodness.
It tastes like 40
Oh.
meters.
It's just
RF is reduced fat. Boring.
Oh, that. Oh,
I was getting all excited.
I bet
Look,
you these come destroyed.
What one person says is a positive, one says is a negative. It's like if I get soda and it says caffeine free, I feel like I got ripped off. That's part of the reason I bought the crap.
Yeah.
Horrible product. Box destroyed. All the chips expired in under a week. I want a refund.
Well, you should have ate it before it expired. I mean, come on. What? I let them sit around and expire, and then I bitched about it.
Well, of course they're gonna be old. You're ordering them through the mail.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what is really cool is, you know, that like the Easter eggs, the Cadbury's Easter egg, you know, the one with filled with cream and everything else.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you look at those, sometimes I don't go to gas stations very often, but you know, you see them in the checkout line at Publix and the gas station. Have a look. Quite often, the expiry date is before Easter. and they're an Easter egg.
Ain't that great?
Yeah.
Where's that thing I'm trying to find?
I've got a general computer question. Can I ask that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think this was a Technic.
How often and what do you do when you go to plug something into a USB port? Does it not see the virtual COM ports? Because
I will tell you that is a problem that almost every ham I've ever worked with has had with at least one of their programming cables that come from China.
Yeah.
And what it is you have to download the specific Windows driver, and then the other tricky part is you can't let Windows auto update that driver, because the Windows driver that Windows tries to put in there for that device screws it up.
And also you have to switch it off after you've loaded, and it doesn't tell you that.
What I did, honestly, I had such trouble with it that I don't use the Baofeng cables that come with the Baofengs. What I do
I use RT systems.
Yeah, well, they're a little expensive for me, but they do. I hear nothing but good things. I will say that. Yeah, I mean, it works great. I use Chirp, and I buy cables, but I won't buy the ones with that FDID chip or whatever it is in it. I'm pretty careful about that. The ones that come with my TYT radios all work. The ones that have come with my Baofeng radios have been pretty bad. Most of those don't work. And I'll tell you what, the most useless thing in ham radio, I'm about to show it to you. You guys ready? Here we go. Here it is. The most useless thing in ham radio.
Oh, those things. Yeah.
It's the disc that comes with your Baofeng radio. Yeah. There's nothing on this that's worth anything. I've tried to, it won't even work as a doorstop. It doesn't work. It doesn't do anything.
Make a really cool Frisbee.
I don't understand. Every radio I've ever bought comes with that same disc, and it all has the same worthless programming.
The Windows 95 drivers.
What it is, it's weird because what's on here is like, it's not even anything that's going to help you. And it's always the same no matter which radio you buy. I think that they literally just throw this in there so they can say it comes with a disc.
Well, you know what I found happened? I did look in that disc, those discs they send one time, and I went in there and I got the program. It was like supposedly the programming software for the radio. And this radio was an off-brand Baofeng. So it was the same body and shell and everything, but it was sold by somebody else. And that program set off my antivirus.
Yeah.
That program that was in there, that programming software made the antivirus freak out and delete it. And I was like, okay.
Well, I heard an explanation for that. And it has to do with the programmers at Microsoft that not wanting to address individual programs so much. So they do use a generic setup for it and to cover A to Z instead of making a direct driver for it. And that's what tells it it's a virus.
What do you mean Windows Defender, like the built-in thing?
Yeah, you can isolate that. I had the same problem with the CPSs for like the I can't remember the name of it, but the MD380, that's what it was. And you basically just have to tell it that it's not a virus.
Well, yeah, that would have been nice, but my I also had malware bytes installed, and it didn't like that either. And then I put it, I did some testing. There's another website you can use that's a pretty well-known website that also checks for viruses, and it confirmed that was a known virus.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, and Yeah, I wasn't gonna mess with it any further because that was just
Yeah, if you got those, I wouldn't even put it in your computer. It's worthless.
yeah, I just
Don't
don't
take the
even.
risk.
If Chirp doesn't have it and RT System doesn't have it, I don't go trying to poke around on those Chinese websites trying to get programming software because that is scary.
There was a radio called a Kocha. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one.
No, I haven't.
It's right here. Ouch. Step on my cord.
Oh,
Oh, I haven't seen one of those.
And it's basic, very basic. It doesn't have enough memory for the contact lists or anything, so it's very basic, but it's UHF. And the CPS that comes with it is called Octus CPS.
oh boy.
And that was when I found out about it's not really a virus thing, because 10,000 people have installed that on their computer without problem.
Okay,
But
that's
Windows
good.
still says that it
Yeah,
is.
Windows will still false flag stuff like that sometimes because it's got a it interfaces with COM ports and hardware and things, and if they do it in a weird way, then it makes the
But
Windows
you did
freak
the
out.
right thing, having a second source check it. That was probably a much better thing.
Well, yeah, because I've seen what those Chinese type softwares can do. They install a ton of adware most of the time. They install 30 different calendars and password managers and garbage. You don't, you got to format your computer at that point. So I didn't want to take any risks. And that was before I had virtual machines to experiment in. But yeah, that was what was frustrating was that the radio was obviously a Baofeng UV5R, but it didn't detect whenever you plugged it in, Chirp would not read from it when you selected UV5R. So they must have done something in the under the hood to make it not work because it was a UV5R. It was sold by a company called TID Radio.
That's the company that makes the Bluetooth for the Baofeng type, where you can program it over Bluetooth.
Oh, really?
Same company.
Yeah, I don't know. I bet you that Bluetooth thing is also generic and sold by 5 different companies.
I'm sure. Ian was looking at that. It was last week or the week before, and I said I had one. They actually do work. You just the problem is the program. It wants to use its own program, so programming is like a nightmare.
Oh man!
If you already have a file set up for it, it's fine.
Oh well, you could set up the file in Chirp and then save it as a CSV and import it. That's
Exactly.
the way to go.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah, you could just forget that it does the Bluetooth.
I need to get one of those cables that has like 5 different ends on it for all the different radios because
I've seen those.
Apparently they
Yeah.
work.
I have one, and it works about 80% of the time. It works on anything that uses like what plugs in where the mic goes. It's worked on any of my radios that have that, and it's worked on all my TYTs, but it only works on some of my Baofengs, which is kind of weird.
Oh,
Well, the RT Systems cable on the Baofeng stuff, they did a really smart thing. I don't know if you could see that, but here's their cable.
Yeah.
What do you notice? There's no 90-degree angle on it.
Right,
straight in.
exactly.
That
Yeah,
is
I don't-
nice.
The 90-degree angle is great for mics, but I don't like it on the programming cable either.
That makes it worth the $20 or whatever it is for one of these things.
Well, I don't like RT Systems because they are just mean to you. Even if you buy it, it costs like $50 to get the cable because you can't buy the cable by itself. You got to buy the cable with the software. Well, you have to have the software to use the cable. So the way they have it set up is that the driver for the cable only installs when you install their software. And so you have to buy it as a bundle and it costs $50. And the software is only good for one specific type of radio. And they only allow you to install it on like 2 machines and 1 operating system. So if you have a Mac and a Windows machine, you got to buy the software again. If you've got more than 2 machines, you got to buy the software again. If you reinstall your computer, got to buy the software again. They are very, very bad with that. And if I don't want their software, because I like Chirp a lot better than their software, and I should be able to just purchase the cable and install the driver, because it is a standard drive. All their cables are the same. You can install the software for the ICOM radio and plug in the Yaesu cable and it will work. The driver's all the same, but they force you to buy the software that you don't need, that is locked to one. It's just super, they're very stingy, and I just don't like it because of that. I try and avoid buying their stuff whenever I can, because
I'll be honest, I try to stay away from a lot of the proprietary stuff unless I have to.
Yeah.
And I haven't bought anything but just $10 cables, and most of my radios have come with cables, so.
Often the wrong cable comes with a radio too, I found.
Yeah. You know, it's not a perfect situation, but we are getting the radios a lot cheaper than we used to.
Yeah.
So that's
That Coacher,
I guess that's the give and take.
that thing was $50 on eBay, or not eBay, Amazon.
wow.
What was that radio you just bought, Ian? The
TYT.
Yeah, the TH 9800, TYT TH 9800. And I really like it. I'm very happy with it, and no complaints.
And it's done fine so far. No smoke or anything.
No, it's done great. I've done watch the Gab Fest on it. Everybody can hear me. I've done all kinds of stuff on it. It's been very good so far. So, I'm trying to. Where is this at? I'm trying to find this. Anyway, I'm trying to get my aircraft thing up so I can show you guys. I moved it over to the other system, but it's not working over there, so I'm just going to put it up here, but I've got to get it going. So anyway. Joseph, if you need me to reshare that, I don't know where we're at with all that. I guess we're pretty much
I think we're pretty much done.
Okay.
Okay, can we have a look at the final results then? Because we kind of got waylaid a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah, well, that was fun though.
I'll put it up, Joseph, so we can show the final results.
Okay.
Let me go back to here and put it back up. Here we go.
All right, so for final results, we have an AMD Ryzen 9 5900X. This thing will shred any task that Ian will throw at it. Streaming, editing video, anything. You could multitask like crazy. I mean, it'll handle everything. We got a CPU cooler here that should be enough, especially with this superior cooling that Ian's going to do. Should be more than plenty. The motherboard here does not have Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. It's just a gaming motherboard, and you're not going to have to worry about bus rates or any of that stuff on a board like this. These are designed for maximum speed and performance. Your bus rate issues and transfer speeds and everything should be really, really good, especially with this solid state drive that we're going to put in here. As for memory, you're getting 32 gigabytes of memory, which should be more than plenty, and it will also future-proof your computer for anything you throw at it in the future, because stuff tends to kind of consume more memory over time. Programs need more memory and whatnot, so that should be plenty. That's more than I have. That's double what I have, and I haven't even come to the limit, and I play games that use memory, so that should be plenty. Graphics card, this one is kind of to be determined, but something similar to this or to this exact one can be installed. They usually have about 4 ports on them. You may have to purchase, you can actually go on Amazon and just get a cable. You don't even need an adapter, just the cable. One end is HDMI, one end is DisplayPort, and you can just plug that in and use all 4 of your outputs. Then the case, this is the same case I have, Corsair 275R ATX mid-tower case. This one is, I've used it. I like the glass on the side because I like looking at my hardware, but that should be fine. There's plenty of space in there. The back panel, both sides of the case come apart. So the glass comes off, and then the other side of it, a panel comes off. And that's where you route all your cables. Did I freeze up here? No. Okay.
Just out of curiosity, how much do they charge for the operating systems?
Okay, let's take a look.
Guys,
Let's
I'm going to
see.
step out for just a second, Joseph. I'll be right back.
Okay. Let's see. We can get Windows 10 here for $100. Windows 11 Pro is $150. What is this? Windows 10 Pro is $200.
Yeast.
Man, what a scam.
Yeah.
Depends on whether you get an OEM license or a or whatever.
Well,
Individual.
you get a license, I believe, but I mean, you can install it for free and then just go and change the registry value, and it's boom, it's registered.
Yeah.
So
a hacker.
yeah, Ian had like 4 computers sitting there, all with the little banner at the bottom that says, please register Windows. And I went in there in like 5 minutes. I had them all registered.
Oh, you're my friend.
I can tell you how to do it. It's really easy.
Put it in a document.
Yeah. Yeah. Send me an email. I'll send you the guide. It's like dead simple, but yeah, so that's about it. Let's see, they don't have anything lower than 10. But I think if you uncheck the compatibility filter here, you can see some of the older stuff. Okay, here you go. Windows 7, 8.1. The worst.
That is the worst.
The worst of the worst.
Worst piece of crap ever. I say it's worse than everything that came. I never used Windows. What is the one Ian doesn't like? I can't remember if it was
Vista.
Well, Vista. Yeah, Vista. But there was another one like 2000 or one of the early ones.
Windows ME sucked too.
I never got to use those. Vista, though, I did get to use briefly, and I didn't encounter anything as horrible as Windows 8 was.
8 sucked.
And
8 was so bad.
I would guess that Windows 8 was the reason there was no Windows 9 because it was so terrible. They wanted
Yeah.
They had to add 2 to get away from it. I thought, when are they coming out with Windows 13?
I'm sure they're working on it, but they're not going to call it 13.
Well, look here. This is the comment Rick left, which is kind of true. Although I would say Windows 7 shouldn't be on here. Windows 7 was good.
7 was all right, and 10 is
10 is meh. 7 was. I would put 7 back on my main machine if it weren't too outdated at this point. I'd put 7 back on. XP was really good though.
Yeah,
XP is still probably my all-time favorite operating system.
Now is Win 10. 8 sucks.
8's the worst.
8 is garbage. I was donated a laptop that had 8 on it. And I'm good with computers, and it took us a whole afternoon figuring out how to get the stupid thing to allow us to boot onto the Windows 7 install disk. Like it had a funky version of the BIOS on there where it locked out booting from a disk. It was like they were just clawing at you to not leave 8, but we managed it.
That would be Linux box.
Well, that's outlandish pricing, I'm sure.
So okay, with the processor, which is the most expensive part.
The processor.
If you were to build this PC, or if I was to build this PC for me, which basically is just a couple of monitors, nothing special. I don't do big video stuff. I do streaming, obviously, we're doing it now. But, and then all my regular Mac stuff, regular amateur radio stuff. And, I use Google Docs and stuff like that. So what would be a reasonable processor for that? Like a 6-core, maybe half the price or something?
Yeah, you could do I don't want to mess up the list here, but you could do
just remember, Dave, the one thing with these things is when you're buying a processor, you're not just buying now speed, but you're buying like worth 5 years from now too.
Yeah, but I learned an awful long time ago that you buy for what you need now and not what you need for the future, because with computers and modern technology, it never goes the way you think it's going to go.
No. That's true, and it's also true that technology like this is getting cheaper as we go forward.
Yeah, so I tend to build for now. I mean, I've got a Dell here that I bought off a Newegg because it had everything that I wanted at the time. And it was like 3-4 years ago, probably 4 years ago now, probably even a little more. And I'm due to upgrade, and I like the look of this, but I don't think I need 12 cores.
No, I would say something like this would be a lot better. This is a Ryzen 5 5600G. It is still recent enough to be, recent and good, but it is only $166. It's a lot less.
Less than half price.
If we do a, where's my benchmark thing that I had up? think I closed that, but we can compare it here.
Oh yeah, the price, the comparison thing, yeah.
Because this would even work for Ian. I mean, this is plenty for general office work and to have a little bit of extra overhead just in case something were to come up. I mean, I'll compare it against my current CPU. So I have the 1600 and then this is a 3600. Let's compare, because I've used this system for a long time and I kind of have a feel for the price. So this one would be a step above mine. Looks like a difference of about 30%. That's pretty good. So this is something I would recommend. You have 6 threads or 6 cores and 12 threads, 3.6 gigahertz. Gigahertz isn't everything, but yeah, I would recommend something like this, to be honest.
Hams do it till they're gigahertz.
Yeah, so that was cheaper than I thought, but that's good. Okay,
Yeah,
so that would bring the price down way below 1,000.
Oh yeah, this would be down. I mean, and if you were to use less memory, you don't need as much memory. You could knock that down a little bit. If you knock down the graphics card, you knock down the cooler. Well, it actually probably comes with a cooler, so you don't even need a cooler on that. Then you're down to like $600, $500, $600.
Wow, that's doable.
Yeah, that's what's nice about building your own system. And then and then what I love the most is that later down the road, if you say, oh, my CPU just kind of slow, you can get a new CPU, but you don't have to replace the whole computer. You can pull it out and put some. You can sell the old one and put a new one in there. It's faster. Same for drives. Same for all the parts, really. My motherboard failed in my computer a few months ago, and I think it was because I kept it out in the cold garage for too long. But it failed. It wouldn't boot up. So I was able to go to the store same day, buy a new motherboard and put it in there, and I was back up and running. If you had a laptop or even an HP or something like that, a pre-built computer you get from the store, that is going to have to be either sent in for warranty repair and then you're out a computer for weeks, or you have to find the motherboard and you have to diagnose it and all kind of stuff. So just having that modularity and having all the parts be separate is just really nice.
Yeah, the worst thing I find about mine is it's one of those small Dells. I think it's a 7200, and it's impossible to work on, and you can't add cards to it because it's the mini thing. It has got lots of USB ports though, which I like. I would like lots of USB ports, but you can get a separate box, or you can get a card that has lots of them on as well, can't you?
Yeah, you can get a USB splitter
or
other stuff. So
I might put one together and then give you a shout so you can check it out for me. But it's gonna have to be September, but I haven't got time.
I need some.
Yeah,
maybe the prices will be a little bit better then, because we're ramping down now. The prices on parts are getting a lot better than they were the past few months. It's starting to calm back down, thankfully. But it was still, like this computer I built when I bought all the parts, I had a budget of $800 when I built mine, and then I parted it all out again on this website, and I looked, and the computer was worth about $2,000, or no, it was about $2,000.
Wow.
With how things were, this was maybe about 6 months ago that I checked this, right at the height of the insane prices. But like the graphics card alone, this graphics card cost me like $250, and when I checked it about 6 months ago, the price was at like $800. It was absolutely insane, but it's calmed down a lot now. So, and it'll
like
calm down more.
It's like the Raspberry Pis, isn't it? I'm hoping they'll start to come back down again.
Yeah, I hope we get stock.
Yeah,
we got to get stock first, and then the prices can come down. I met the Gigaparts guy at Field Day, and I was like, "Where's our Raspberry Pis, man?" He was like, "Oh, you are out of your mind if you think you're getting a Raspberry Pi."
Yeah. Yeah, we're stuck in a little hole there, aren't they? They're not going to build any because people aren't going to buy them at the price they are. And I guess somewhere along the line, they must be working on 5.
On the Raspberry. Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
I haven't heard anything about that. They released the Pi 400 pretty recently.
Yeah.
The Pi 400's been out a good while now.
Yeah, that's the one with the keyboard, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that one didn't sell that well. Well, that was actually underpriced because that was the one with the keyboard, wasn't it? But I did have a different motherboard.
Yeah, that one was kind of interesting. It was, I don't know. It wasn't. Everybody who bought it wished they could have bought a Pi 4.
Yeah.
Because you were getting, it had the GPIO pins on it, but you did it have the pins on it? I think it had the pins.
Yeah, but they came out.
Yeah, they're in the back.
They're in the back. Everything was in the back, and it was a long thing, and they came out at 90 degrees off the motherboard, so they were really easy to bend. I know somebody who's got one. They're running WinLink on it, but the cables keep coming out because there's no cable locking system, and it doesn't self-lock like a USB.
Yeah.
So there was a few.
Yeah,
the keyboard really wasn't that good. You can get better keyboards for, well, like these keyboards.
Most people get those Pis because they don't want all that crap. You know, they don't want the keyboard and all that there. They want to minimize what they're doing. That's why most people go to those. It just seemed, I don't know, it seemed like, well, I don't know.
400, I mean, I knew a few people who bought 400s, and it was mostly people like kids who wanted a computer that they could afford, because the thing cost like $80 at the time.
Yeah.
Wanted a computer they could afford, and it had a keyboard and monitor outputs and stuff, which it's less challenging than buying a little single board computer with no cover on it. And you know, you could buy it as a kit with all the cables and a mouse and everything.
On a power supply.
Yeah, so you could buy it with it coming in with everything for $100 or so. And I know
all you had to do was plug the monitor in.
Yeah, and that for a kid who has a limited budget, that was pretty cool, because you could also do the other stuff with the GPIO pins.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the demographic that bought it. But now that they're out of stock and the price went crazy again, it's just I wouldn't probably buy one. I would buy one if I had an extra monitor and I wanted to set up something that was running all the time. Okay, I'm coming. But yeah, other than that, well, they're calling me because it's my little sister's birthday, so I'm going to go out there for a minute, and I'll be back.
All right, and we're going to move on. I was going to show you guys the next thing we're going to talk about tonight. Is there anything else on computers before we move on?
No, I think that's good. I'm going to have to run as well. So,
all right,
well, I've got to get up early in the morning. So,
okay, give me just 1 second here. I just want to show you guys something. Give me just 1 second. I'm pulling this over right now. I want to show you guys, this is my current tracking map for the aircraft.
Yeah. Oh,
and
wow.
Look at my range now.
Cool.
I actually caught a plane that was inside Georgia.
Yeah.
And over Cuba, and over the Bahamas, and over Freeport. So I'm getting an amazing range with this, and all I did was I bought this little thing and added it to it. $41.
So and most of the planes are flying away from Miami.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird how it works. You'll see them all going. They all run in rows. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And of course, you can when you zoom into Fort Myers, like during the day, it's so polluted through here during the day you can't even see the map. It's just white with planes. Right now, I'm tracking 67 aircraft. With my old antenna and without this LNA, I never tracked more than about 48 aircraft at a time. So now, even now at 10:21 at night on a Friday night, I'm still tracking 70 aircraft. I've tracked as many as 150 aircraft at one time. So it's crazy what you can get. Now, here's the thing. I'm doing two things to this in the next couple weeks. I'm moving the LNA up to the antenna. I'm going to buy the adapter I need and a little watertight box, and I'm going to put the LNA up at the tower. If you do that, they said it gives you 20 or 30% more range, and I have 12 feet more cable. I'm going up another length of pipe. So I think between those two things, my God, I don't know how much more I can get. Now I'm like, it's like crack. I got to see how many more planes I can get. But anyway,
You
having
gotta get some space on Wink's TV tower.
yeah, there you go. I'll tell you,
Maybe you
it
can see
it does
it.
amazing. It really does amazing.
See into Atlanta, man.
That's
The
impressive.
Yeah, I've got a power pole between me and Orlando, so you can see there's kind of a gap there. But where I don't have anything blocking or anything, man, you can see it's. You guys know how that splotch works. The yellow splotch is areas where I've detected a plane that was under 10,000 feet. The green splotch, I've detected a plane under 20. The blue is under 30. The red is under 40. Or the red is above 30, I think it just says, or whatever. But so you can see if this shows you that that plane that I tracked, it's a red color, so it was obviously over 30,000 feet. A lot of times it's the ones that are red, which are the Cessnas and stuff that are up at 44,000, 43,000 feet. But
Cessna?
A sister.
yeah, whatever those those commercial planes, those little 6 and 8 and 10
Learjets.
seater, yeah, Lears and stuff like that.
Learjets.
That's
Oh,
what
okay.
I was.
Gonna
Yeah,
say a
That's what I was.
Cessna.
I don't know my
Yeah,
aircraft. I don't do
no,
aircraft, so excuse my ignorance.
that's
Um,
okay. So do you
but
see much coming in from the ocean? You know, like the internationals from Europe coming into Miami and Fort Lauderdale, and then
you
the
do.
in, the internationals.
Sometimes you'll see them. You'll click on them like this one here, this guy here, and you see a lot of these bigger ones coming across. That's a big plane right there.
That's FedEx,
Uh, yeah. What
Airbus
is it?
300 cargo. Yeah.
Yep. And there's what it looks like. I love this program. I don't normally leave this, but you can expand this out. It gives you all the, and I've got this sorting by miles. So I want you guys to notice I'm tracking a plane at 179 miles, 177, 170. That's crazy to me
Mhm.
at 1090 megahertz.
Yeah.
So what I'm learning, and I know that this is common knowledge, but what I've really been set into me is the higher the frequency, the more important everything becomes. The antenna, the feed line, the filtering, everything becomes so much important. And by
Location.
location, yeah, and height, it's all the normal stuff's important, but the wire, we always talk about how 440 is a bitch with the coax, and if you put too many connectors on there, 440 just doesn't work well at all.
And the
Uh,
trees, anything
yeah,
above kind of 300 or something, vegetation has an effect.
yep,
Everything has effect, buildings. But funny enough, 440 in cities, tends to be better than 2 meters because it's got the ability to bounce around better and get around
Yeah.
and
Right.
through objects. But once you get above that,
440 does better in buildings with small windows and stuff like that too.
yeah, it's a better.
Um,
What's
I
that
know
plane
Flying
using?
into
we had
nothing.
when I was in public safety, we had some systems on 70 centimeters, and we had some systems on 2 meter, and they definitely had their strengths and their weaknesses.
Yes.
The 440 seemed to do better in buildings. The 2 meter did us a lot better when we were out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
The 2 meter gave us more range and distance. The 440 seemed to work obstacles better in town.
What kind
That's
of plane is
interesting.
that?
Everything over Naples or
Which
approaching
one?
Naples.
The one
It's
up at
way
the
up.
top.
Yeah, that's a,
Here,
Yeah. Looks like a B-29 or something. Oh, okay.
yeah, it gets a lot of this off the actual transponder, and then it fills in whatever it doesn't have off the internet. Yeah, he did a few circles up here.
Yeah, but he's only at 6,000 feet.
Yep. Yeah, I've got this set right now. You can set up to 6 lines per plane, and you can set the 6 lines for whatever you want. I have them set because I'm testing range right now. That's miles from the shack, feet above surface, and speed.
Well, that
So
was flying around the airport. That's an airport there, isn't it?
It's a little.
It's a little one.
Yeah.
Mayaca Head Airport. I don't think I've ever even heard of it before. It's a little private. It's a private airfield. Is all it is.
Yeah, but it looked like he was doing perfect circles around that.
Yeah. It could be somebody training. They
Yeah.
do their night flights late at night, training flights. You see a lot of that around Page Field. They come out of Page Field down here a lot, and they'll do this. They'll run circles where they do touch and go, touch and go, touch and go, touch and go, and they'll do it like 7 times, 8 times. I watched Mosquito Control last night mowing the grass.
Oh yeah.
They come up here and they go up and back and up and back, and it looks like you're mowing the grass. And the sheriff's chopper, when he goes out, he comes out and he goes out and he circles and 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 circles, and that's what he does. But look, this plane, this little teeny plane right here. What is this thing?
200 feet above 200 feet above sea level. That's not right.
Yeah. He's running very low. Oh, Mosquito Control. He's spraying.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's spraying.
Usually they spray in the morning.
No,
Yeah.
they're spraying different. They spray all different stuff. This
It's
isn't
raining
the big
here, so I don't know what, I'm not
Is
that
it
far
really?
away from there. Yeah. A little bit.
Bloody hell.
It's been raining since about 4 o'clock. I took the dog out for a walk at 5 o'clock or 5:20, and I thought I'd make it back. There was a window, but about 6 o'clock, we got wet. So he doesn't care. He loves it. So,
But I wanted to show
well,
you guys
he's a cross between an English setter and an English pointer. So being English, if he didn't walk in the rain, he would never walk.
Yeah, and he don't know whether to be sitting or pointing. That's the antenna I bought right there. It was about $70. It came with that.
You can't see it.
I'm seeing.
Oh crap! Hold on. I gotta switch this. Sometimes I click on the one that's just the screen. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, there we go. This is the antenna I bought, and it's about $70 on Amazon, and it comes with the wire. It comes with the mounting hardware, and I just mounted it up on top of a PVC pipe. It's only at about 20 feet right now, and it says it's 12 dB a gain. I don't know how you get 12 dB out of an Omni, but hey, I'm always up for new magic.
Well, it's probably a 5/8 over a 5/8 over a 5/8. So it's
That's probably what it is. It's like
3
antennas
antennas inside. Yeah.
It's 5/8. It's not that long.
That makes sense. Well, yeah, because a half wave would be about 6 inches, 7 inches.
Yeah. So how long is that?
Or not a half wave. I'm sorry. No, a dipole. A half wave.
Might be about 2.5 inches.
Yeah, I think a half wave is about 5 inches. Mine was about 5 inches.
Right,
Yeah, the full wave's about 10 inches. Yeah. So, and then you figure, so yeah, there would be just enough room in there for 3 dipole-ish type things.
Yeah.
And so that's how they get the gain.
They call it a collinear, don't they?
Yeah. Stuff I'm still learning about.
I'll tell you, I was working on some antennas the other night, and I've been working on different antennas and theories and God knows what else for probably 40 years. And, every time I learn a little more, I realize I don't know anything.
Yep.
I just, unreal.
See, these lines that you're seeing here that are light blue, that's down to like 14,000 feet. I mean, these planes are pretty low. They're coming out of Miami down here.
Yeah.
And I'm picking them up while they're still down below 15,000 feet.
Really interesting the direction these things take, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
It
I can
is.
see why, because they're getting away from the ones that are coming in. Because you've got like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got 7 planes coming in, and all the ones taking off are going either side of that. Because at some point, I mean, they're supposed to keep 5 miles apart, aren't they, and a mile vertically. So
Yep.
at some point, they're going to be at a crossover point where one's going up and one's going down, and they're going to be too close.
I like that it actually shows you where it's coming from, where it's going.
There's a couple over the ocean there now, so I'm guessing those are going towards Europe or something.
Well, see, apparently
Well,
I
it's
don't.
going to Dallas Fort Worth. That's the wrong way.
Yeah, everything. I don't understand why sometimes that's not all. Well, see, now it says not that one doesn't have a route. Let's see where this big one's going. This is an Airbus A330, and it's going
Madrid.
to
Madrid.
yeah, Madrid from Havana.
Yeah.
And yep, that's where he came from, down here. Havana.
Oh, he's back again. That went on up in front of the other one. He disappeared for a while.
I feel
Well,
sorry for. I'll tell you what. I feel sorry for folks in Cuba. I really do. I got a set of neighbors, and I also have some friends that are Cuban, and they're some of the nicest folks I know. They understand and respect freedom and democracy more than anybody else I know.
Right.
I really feel for those folks down there. That's why I don't know. Sometimes it just breaks my heart when I see them trying to get here so hard.
Yeah, politics sucks, doesn't it?
Yep. This is Palm Beach to
FedEx
Memphis.
going to Memphis.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why. It's only the headquarters.
Just a hub.
Memphis.
So
All right,
FedEx
here we
is
go
a
here.
hub for all sorts, isn't it?
Oh, here
sorry,
we go.
Memphis.
¿Dónde está
This
Miami?
one, yeah, this one came out of Santiago, Chile, and it's going to Miami.
Oh, it's probably a drug run.
No. On a Boeing 767? That's a lot of dope. That's a lot of dope, man.
That's enough fentanyl to blow up the world. You know?
Yeah, go big or go home, you know?
Yeah, to put it in news terms, that's enough fentanyl to kill the entire galaxy twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would outdo the nuclear arsenal.
Yeah, Fox News, that would be. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Now, come on, they're not the biggest exaggerators.
No, I know. Well, no, that was just I look at, well, I keep changing between all of them. The news, you know, I can't. Well, they say if you don't watch the news, you're uninformed. If you do watch it, you're misinformed.
That's very accurate.
Yeah.
That's why when I see a story, I dig my news online. I always check several sites.
That's why I make sure that I am the news.
Yeah.
There's going Cancun to Madrid.
Cancun?
Yep, he was down
Cancun's
here.
just down there.
He's
Yeah.
going over to Madrid.
Yeah.
I got to tell you guys, I'm impressed with my range. I'm just absolutely
Good.
impressed by the range I'm getting with this equipment.
Well, imagine if they had those things on space satellites.
So
Yeah.
how does it do with close range, like with a helicopter?
Well, like anything else, if you're looking to get helicopters that are under 1,000 feet, you're only going to get them out probably 30 miles outside the tower site. Like I don't ever see choppers over in Miami, but I see all the ones around here. Our sheriff's department chopper, he's right over here. He comes out of Buckingham Field right here.
Well, that's because of our Flat Earth Dave friend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, his name was Dave too.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, the other lawnmower's doing well.
Somebody's doing touch and goes at Page Field.
No, that's the mosquito guy, I think.
Yeah, that's
that's right.
That's the skeeter eaters, yeah. That's a Douglas DC-3. That's one of their fleet. When I was a kid, they'd run 6 of those DC-3s, wingtip to wingtip in the morning, and they go over your neighborhood.
Oh, that
And,
was so much fun when they'd fly over.
And we're still alive.
My dad used to call it a World War II simulation.
Yeah.
Yeah. An air raid.
Excellent description of why what Doppler shift is, because you know that engine was the same noise all the time, but it started off low, went high, and went low. Doppler shift.
Yep. Yeah, and that same principle works with radio frequency. It's really cool.
Yeah. Well,
that's why when they're doing the space station thing,
yeah.
You're supposed to have about 7 or 8 program channels into your radio, and as it goes over, as you hear the pitch change, you're supposed to go up 5
5K steps. Yeah.
5 kilohertz or whatever.
Closer it gets to you, the higher it is. So you have
Right.
to go up and then back down. Yeah.
Yeah, that Doppler shift thing is something else.
Yeah.
Isn't that? Yeah, it is. It's really cool.
I was looking at the band. I was looking at the band allocations the other day for 2 meters, and there's like a whole range. It's like 30 or 40 kilohertz set aside, or more than that actually. It's like 80 kilohertz set aside for the one satellite because of the Doppler shift.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm hopefully going to get my LNA up. Hopefully soon. I want to get it up at the tower, up at the top, but I'm going to have to buy a couple of little parts.
So the LNA, that's an amplifier?
Yeah.
It
It sure is. Yeah, I got the picture of it right here. No, that's not it. That's not
the antenna.
That's an antenna. I know what that is.
Ian, what is the cable that's run between the antenna and that SMA connector?
Oh, it's a wideband LNA as well.
Well, I'm showing you guys it hooked up. That's actually not the same one that I have. That's a different one. This one here is the actual one that I have. Let me get it here. I think I might have closed it. Open a new tab. There we go. It's this one right here is the actual one.
Oh, so it's actually a 1090.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the actual one. And as far as the wire that connects them right now, I've just got them hooked directly one to the other. But that, although that is acceptable to use it that way, it's not what they recommend, because not only is this a filter, but it's also an amplifier. And so if you put this at your antenna, the signals, those weak signals you're getting from 200 miles away, don't have to make it all the way down that cable. This thing will actually, push them down to you. And so they say that if you put this on the other end, it will increase your performance by 10, 20, 30%, something. I don't know. So they don't really have a number, but
the other thing is you might be overloading the front end of the SDR. Because I assume this goes between the amplifier and the antenna and the SDR, right?
Right, yeah. It gets its power through bias T.
Yeah. Well, that's okay, because that's just DC. That's not.
Yeah, and people don't. I didn't realize it till Joseph told me that your RTL SDR is set up and does bias T. You just have to go in there and run a little script, and it turns it on. It's really easy. You just put a little icon on your on your desktop, and whenever you want it, you just double click it, and it turns the TNA on, and you can put the other one next to it, and you double click it, and it turns it back off. That's really all there is to it. So, a great little deal, and the range difference. I used to get this red line right here used to be like where I would lose most of the planes.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting them way out past this. This is the 200-mile marker right here.
You're going past Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's 250-mile marker right there is Jacksonville. So, I mean, I don't know, man. You can't beat that. If I get it any better, I'm about to start selling the data back to the government.
Start luck with that.
Yeah.
Now you need a satellite.
Lufthansa.
Yeah, we gotta get our
Cargo
satellite
Airlines, Germany, Boeing 777. That's a big old plane. Yeah.
Going to Mexico.
It's the Lufthansa.
Luftwaffe.
No, Lufthansa.
Luftwaffe, yeah.
I don't think the Luftwaffe is around anymore.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it
Let's hope
is.
it's not.
That's just the German Air Force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, man, I love this thing. I've got a 32-inch TV up here. I'm pointing to my picture up there, but right behind my inset there, I've got a 32-inch TV already up there, and this is going on that on its own computer. It's going to just stay up all the time. I just love this thing.
Geez, I guess you don't need to buy any monitors with your new computer package.
No. Well, I buy all my monitors at secondhand stores. Every monitor you see in here was purchased secondhand, including all 4 of the 32-inch TVs.
I keep looking.
They're all repurposed. What are you looking for?
The TV monitors. I keep looking. We got a couple that, like one next to the doctors and one next to Ace Hardware, and I keep popping in there, and one next to the place we go for breakfast sometimes.
Let me tell you, the first thing you got to do if you're going to secondhand stores is don't bother with Goodwill.
No, that's not.
That is the last play. Now I do go into Goodwills. I bought this monitor here. I bought in a Goodwill, and I paid $26 or something for it, which is more than I would normally pay. But it was a very nice monitor, and I was able to check it out and make sure it worked. So I went ahead and bought it. But most monitors, most of these over here that you see behind me, most all of these monitors, I purchased them all for anywhere from $5 to $12 a piece. I don't. That one up here, that looks so fancy up there. Joe gave me that at the swap shop for nothing, and I spun it upside down up there. It's literally a monitor. I spun it upside down and put a screw down into the shelf, and boom, it's a monitor. I've as a matter of fact, I can show you. I've got it pulled up because I wanted to show you guys. At least I thought I did. Man, I'm losing things on my screens tonight really bad. Oh, here it is. I'm getting these. I'm getting 2 sets of these, one for each side of the desk. I'm sick of my monitors not looking straight. And so I want to buy these so that I can measure them all out, make them look straight. And if I need to...
You don't see anything.
Oh, crap.
I see Dave.
You guys are too demanding.
Yeah, it's a tough crowd.
Too damn demanding. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I got. Yeah.
Yeah, I got something like that.
Yeah, I got
Wow.
that. That's what I got.
Monitors, but this one does.
Well, mine's on clamps.
How many monitors can you get on that? Probably
4. 6.
Yeah, these are 6. This one here, I don't like this one because it doesn't allow for up and down, that much up and down adjustment. These actually give you a little more of that. Because with this one here, like the middle one adjusts separately. So I can, because every monitor is just a little bit different. I've only got a couple that match. Most of them are oddball. So I want to get all the oddball ones together that look the same, and I want to get it looking as professional as I can in here. So I'm thinking seriously about something like this. Actually, this is the one. I think this is the one I was looking at. I like the mounting system on this one because this piece here, you just drill one hole through the table, and that thing goes on there, and the receiver's on top, and there's like a plate on the bottom. That thing's got to be as secure as hell.
That's what I got, but I haven't got the middle connector. I took the middle one off, so I've just got 2 monitors either side. That's the same one as I've got, with the double clamp on the bench. Wow, look at that.
Yep, and that's what I want to do. I want to put the 6 over here and the 6 over here on these racks, and then all I'll have left is the 3 low ones down here and the 3 upper ones up here, and then that way everything will be on racks. These 3 up here are just sitting on a shelf. They're literally just sitting on a shelf. I took the feet and the legs off of them, put little rubber feet on them, and they just sit on the shelf. And then I got a wire holding them back to the wall so they don't fall on me. That's all it is. And so they're staying just like they are because it would be really expensive to buy a bunch of racks to hold these big 32-inch TVs.
Well, this will take 32, it says.
Yeah, 32. Yeah, it's a 32-inch LED monitor, one of the new LED monitors. These 32-inch TVs are pretty big. They're thicker. A couple of them are older.
Oh, you've got
Um,
the older ones, yeah.
well, when I say older, they're an inch and a half thick versus half an inch
An
thick.
inch,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Yeah.
And
The
they're like,
picture's beautiful on all of them. They all work great. Um, you know what's really cool about when you hook up monitors that are HDMI, like TVs like these? Each TV that you HDMI in becomes another sound card.
That's right.
oh, the TV,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Cool.
I can literally play, like if I want to listen to two scanners, I can put one scanner on this TV and one scanner on this TV and listen to them separately.
Yeah, I only
You know,
use monitors, so I don't get that.
so I like it because I got rid of all the little speakers, all the little speaker boxes. They always buzz and make noise with the HF and everything. Got rid of all that. All
No,
I do
see,
now, all I do now is I use these TVs as all of my speakers, unless
yeah,
I'm
well,
doing
what I do,
headphones.
I go the other way. So I've got two powered speakers. They're 90 watt, 30 watts high frequency, 60 watt low frequency. They're just two speakers. They're Roland near field studio monitors. And then I've got a mixer here, and everything goes through the mixer, and the mixer drives the speakers. So all my rigs, all the computers and everything all go into the mixer. So I get
That's
the
cool,
same,
but
similar sound to, out of everything. So I
that
don't
gives you
have
more
to.
quality. The one thing that I like about this though is I have Motorola speakers up here. I got Motorola speakers up here. I got a Motorola speaker over there. I got a Motorola speaker over there. And then I got the three TVs. And the reason I do that is because I normally monitor anywhere from 3 to 6 different radio things at a time. Like I'll have fire up on something. I monitor fire most of the day. I have the amateur radio stuff scanning. I monitor multiple things. I'm one of these multitasker kind of people.
Yeah. Well,
And
I can do
when
that as
everything
well.
comes out of speakers, I can't listen to if two people are talking at the same time and they're coming out of the same set of speakers, I can't understand what they're saying. But
Oh,
if I
okay.
put one on a speaker way back over here and I got one on a speaker way up over here, I can literally like being in a room with two conversations going on and I can differentiate between the two. I do the same thing with headphones. I'll split my headphones using my production mixer here, and
Yeah,
I'll put something separate in the left and something separate in the right, and that's another way for me to do it too.
I was trying to show you, but I don't think you can see it.
You can
I
share.
I can't change that. No, I was trying to show you my picture on the. I've got like you a monitor that just monitors, but I've just now got Zoom working off of two monitors. I've actually got Zoom working on three monitors, different pictures on each one. But that's the mixer there. But you can't see it very. Oh, I know what I can do. Hold on. I can go here. There's the mixer. And there.
Oh yeah.
So everything that's going into that is either a radio or a computer.
The DJ Dave.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it
Yeah.
all goes in. You can adjust all the levels. You can have several things. Like if you look here, I've got 5 things actually live. No audio from the speakers. I can turn the audio up from the speakers and you won't get feedback. Speaker full up. And then I've still got a couple of spares because this one's 14 inputs and I'm only using 10. So I can use extra ones, but you can, I don't know which rig is running the 3000. So you can hear the 3000. So, sorry, I was doing you. I was trying to show the wrong thing. So there you go. That's what I do. So I don't have, but I can quite comfortably listen to 2 different things. And the other thing I can do is with the pan, I can put the 2 different channels in each ear.
Mm.
But 90% of the time, because my mother-in-law's in the bedroom right next door there, and whatever, 90% of the time I do it on headphones. I use these headphones. I just bought another pair because I found a pair really cheap, and I really, really like these. So I thought I'd.
Yeah, Pan would give you the ability to do what I like to do, which is put one exact thing and put one feed
Yeah.
in one ear and one in the other. Yeah, that's really cool.
The only thing I don't like about this mixer is that you can't actually see it, but the graphic equalizer, it works on the speakers, but it doesn't work on the headphones. The
Oh,
headphones, which is kind of annoying, but you know, I like the other characteristics of it. So the next upgrade I get will have one that the graphic equalizer will work on the. I know I can take the headphones out of the outputs and put them through a mic amplifier or something, a headphone amplifier. But it's another piece of kit. I'm kind of lacking in real estate, so something else I need to do. But that's good. And you can get studio equipment so cheap.
yep.
Speaker stands, studio speaker stands, and for the big speakers that they have are so incredibly cheap, and they make fantastic antenna supports. And
Yep.
you can buy them for like $5-6.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous. There's a couple of places around here that sell audio equipment. I've just bought I'll put it away. I'll show it to you next week. I've just bought a Zoom tape recorder. Those things were like $600-700. 2 microphones on the top and the works. I just bought one for $140. He wanted 160, but I talked him down. An incredible performance.
Is that like the Tascam that has the 2 microphones?
Yes, very similar.
I don't think I ever realized these things were quite so cheap. These I'm looking at these mics. I've got several of these. I got 3 of these actually.
Yeah.
One's got a smaller bottom on it than the other two. 2 of them are identical to this. This is a Pile. I think mine might be Pile. They look just like this, exact same. $31. I thought they were more like $100.
Well, you've got that might be the one. Yeah, there is a cheaper one. It's not so. Oh no, that looks like mine as well. Well, I bought mine
This
for
is
$5 a
exactly.
piece.
This is literally mine. Exactly.
Yeah. And what I've done is the inside. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, the inside bit that slides up and down, that's held by that. If you take that out and turn it round, so you take out the bottom, you'll find there's a piece of plastic on the bottom, and you take that off and it's swaged in. So you can put standard 1.5 inch tubing on top of it. So I've got one of those 1.5 inch push-up masts, and it fits on that. So I've got an 18-foot mast, but this gives me another 6 foot, 70 inches, and it all fits together. I'll do a demo on it next week. I'll show you. I mean, it's really, and you can get these off of eBay. I bought mine off of Craigslist. There's a guy on Craigslist. Let me go and see if he's still up. If you put like speaker stands in Craigslist, there's 2 guys. There's one up really near to you. Speakers. There's a guy in Naples, and then there's a guy, Cape Coral. They specialize in selling off disco equipment and band equipment and stuff like that. No, it doesn't seem to have. They got all sorts of mixers and speakers for because they think it's useless because everybody wants something that's digital compatible now, which is just BS. No, yeah, I can't see them. No, okay.
They're a better price on Amazon on this one.
Yeah, there are two different models though. One is thicker, you know, supports more, but that's what I use for my antennas. And then, where am I? I've lost. Oh, I know what I've done. Zoom.
I spent twice that to buy an antenna tripod.
Yeah, yeah, and they're better. So they're 1.5 inches, internal dimensions. They come with that slider that goes up and down. You can flip that over. I spray mine red at the bottom so I don't pull it out too much. Yeah, I think the 1.63 inches in diameter, a 1.5 inch expandable mast, you know, like the mast you get at, I don't know, Buddy Pole or any of the other companies, they're all very similar. You know, can I get 18-footer for around about, well, probably a little more than $100 now. And I've put eyelets at the bottom of mine so I can hook in. I've got a piece of bright pink rope that's got, I don't know, it's like 15 feet. So I can make an equilateral triangle out to the pegs and then off to the other peg, you know, so I can get the three guys equally around. And I've got two people.
Will we be able to play rock and roll like those guys in the picture though?
Oh yeah, I can play rock and roll here and blow your window. Oh, I can't do it now, but it will blow your, yeah, a bit of AC/DC. I can, or Metallica or any of the other. I like the heavy rock, so I can, yeah, I can. When everyone leaves, I can rattle the windows comfortably.
Big hair days.
Yeah, well, a little earlier than that, but yeah. So that's what I do with my audio. So, but then, you know, and it's really cheap to do, and it makes it real nice because if anyone comes, you can listen to two radios, or you can, you know, and it's better than an equalizer to go onto your radio to get all the noise off. You can get all the noise off the signal with ease. I'm surprised more people don't do it. But
well, you let the cat out of the bag now.
Yeah, well, I did a couple of talks for our club, and there are a couple of people that do it, but I think mixers frighten people. I don't know, but they don't. And I guess most people don't know that there's power speakers. Power speakers have got amplifiers in.
Right.
That's what you usually have to get for a computer.
Yeah, but these are
much more powerful.
Yeah, no, the computer ones are awful.
Yeah.
But I guess that could be I think the best ones, but I've never been able to get them, are the JBL Control 2s. Oh, yeah. They're almost like a collector's item. They're really, really good. But the Rolands are good. Anything that's near field. You don't want anything that spreads the stereo. You want it that pushes it in. So like studio monitors that would be used in a studio, because I mean, I can almost touch both speakers. So you want near field speakers, and you want, you know, plenty of power. You want at least 45. I say I've got 90 watts each side, so I've got 180 watts. I don't use anything like that, but you want that so that you can get the clarity of range.
All right. Does anybody else have anything on that? Anything else? All right. Just want to run through it. We're just about done tonight. We've been on over 3 hours now.
Yeah.
I know a couple of you need to get going. I just want to take the last few minutes here to, if you guys got to go, take off. We'll catch you later. It's been fun having you around, and we'll see you next week. For the rest of you, just real quick, we'll go through what we got here. Why is
I'm going to say 7-3. We'll catch you.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Bye.
I don't know why this seems like it froze up or something. Oh, I know why. I think I know why. I think I shared the wrong screen.
Try again.
I'm sure I did. There we go. All right, so there's not a lot going on. The tropics are quiet, so we're not going to belabor it. But I do want to mention the reason they're so quiet is because we're actually in a little period now where we've got sinking air, more sinking air than rising air. And when that happens, we generally have decreased activity, and that's kind of what's going on. This will release and go away in a couple weeks, and then we'll be back to normal. Um, the tropical outlook has been updated. Um, we're still looking at a way above average season, about 6 storms above average. Let's see. There's a big plume of African dust coming across, and this also tends to not only suppress tropical storm activity, but it also tends to suppress our afternoon thunderstorm activity if it happens if it gets over the top of us directly. Uh, just want to mention Mike's weather page. That's where I get all that information. We had a little crack in the geomagnetic field, and we've actually had some auroras that were seen a little further south than normal. And some sunspots going to be spinning around in the next few days, so we have to watch those. Also, there was some auroras on July 4th. I got the whole story in here for you. And also, I talk about this is a story from spaceweather.com about inoculescent clouds, and you guys can check that out when you get a chance. The solar conditions right now are interesting. It's kind of one of those weird things right now where we did have a geomagnetic storm. Joseph, you still here? I thought you had to go,
Yeah.
buddy.
No, I was going and I said I was going to come back.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. I didn't want you to miss something else because of this, because we're just playing around here. Let's see here. I'm trying to pull up my solar data here so we can get that up. But of course, I haven't gotten my new ultra fast computer yet, so it just takes a second here. But this morning, you can see that our solar flux was up to 121, and the geomagnetic field was a bit active at 3. We are on the way up here, and hopefully we'll get this to continue going. But the forecast is for it to actually level off just a little bit. So this thing's not going to load, I guess. Is that what we're going to do here? We're not going to load. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous that Bill Gates got rich after making Windows.
You should be paying us to use it.
You know, you got to look at it. I hate to say this, but you almost have to look at it like, if a company does bad, they go out of business. Except some companies. Some companies can make viruses, antiviruses that don't even work, and they're fine. All right, so let's just we'll just move on. Anyway, the geomagnetic field has been very active today, and so the conditions have been wildly changing. And we've got our standard afternoon thunderstorm activity going on. Again, we're in that late summer setup right now, which is kind of interesting. I did a few funny boners this week. Anyway, you can read those. One does not simply leave a hamfest empty-handed. So anyway, there's your World of DX. The swap shop is tomorrow. I'm sure we'll see Joseph there. Come on down, drive down. You'll need to leave now. And the ham radio events coming up. There's actually is an event this weekend. There's not a lot of ham events in the heat of summer.
There's like this. There's this thing called like Ham Quest happening soon where I'm at, or near where I'm at. It's like
Really?
It's like a ham fest, but not ham fest. Apparently there's going to be like vendors. It's apparently like a big, sort of like a ham fest. Well, the way it was described, it sounded exactly like a ham fest, but I don't really know what their deal is. I don't think I'm going to go.
Sounds interesting.
Although I might go. I don't know. I think it's this weekend.
With me, it's always like, how much are you charging and how much does it look like I get? Because I'm so cheap, I squeak. But anyway, there's a neat story in here. They're working with this new 5G technology, where the device actually receives energy from the radio transmissions it's receiving. It's kind of
Oh
interesting.
yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and so there's an article in here about that. If you guys want to read about that, it's interesting. And I love that old radio. And anyway, that's really about it. There's hardly crap going on. There's not a lot of special event stations this weekend. That's it. And there's not a lot of contests this weekend. That's it. So it's a slow weekend out there for everybody. And that's it. That's what I got there. Really not a lot to talk about all that. Does anybody have anything else?
Check this out.
Come on.
My truck game.
Oh,
Y'all
that's
see it?
interesting. Yeah.
Look how, isn't it crazy how far graphics have come?
Yeah, it is. I mean, that looks real.
Well, that's good.
I mean, if I sit back about 6 feet from the TV, it's real.
Yeah, might as well be. Pretty cool. This is a game called Snow Runner, and there's a bunch of there's two other games that came before it. One was called Mud Runner, and the other was called Spin Tires. And it's like it's got the cool thing about the unique thing about this is that all the mud simulation is accurate. So like the ground actually deforms. So if I drive in the mud here, we'll have like actual deformation and tire tracks and stuff forming. Like you can kind of see behind it there.
You actually change the environment basically.
Yes, like if you
unlike like Grand Theft Auto where it changes very few things and they change right back.
Right. Like if you drive through a road a lot of times, then the ruts will get deeper and deeper and deeper until you start getting stuck a lot more. It's very realistic in terms of ground physics, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and
all the trucks are
everybody understands that Zoom's only giving us like 1 frame a second here.
Yeah, I know. I can't do anything about that.
Not much you can do about that.
But this is what I've been playing. Oh, I'm stuck. I'm
Alright,
stuck in water.
and that's
Lock
what
in your
I-
transaxle and go into low range.
I went in low range, but I'm still stuck. Uh-oh.
Well, it looks like the transaxle is already locked in.
Yeah, I don't.
I'll tell you, we had one truck with double screws in the back like that, and man, when you lock in both of them to where they're both turning, it's hard to get that thing stuck.
Gonna try to push it on through.
The only way you can get it stuck is if you get the front end down low enough into something.
He needs to
'Cause
go
it-
over
'cause
to
it-
the left side of the road.
To winch
Yeah.
myself out. I think
Now
there's
what
a
they
winch
need
in
to
this
do
game.
is come up with a storm chase game.
Yeah,
Chase
We need to-
tornadoes.
tornado. We need a tornado mod.
Yeah.
Do storm
Yes.
chasing. I gotta get from where I'm at here. It's like I gotta turn here onto this road. I'm kind of being dangerous right now because this truck is not made for off-roading. So as soon as I hit a really bad patch of mud, like it's right here next to me, I might actually get really stuck. Oh, sliding.
Keep the hammer down, son.
But
We got to hammer down. Come on. Gotta put it in low range again.
I'm about to go watch Smokey and the Bandit again.
Oh no, did I miss my turn? No. I gotta get to the sawmill.
I love how it's autumn there.
Yeah. Well, it has other seasons too. It has winter. I'm excited about trying out winter because then you get to do ice road trucking. Drive semi trucks in the snow and things like that.
It seems like you're missing something. Oh yeah, cops shooting at you.
We gotta escape. Have a horn. Oh, there's no horn. There used to be a horn in the other games. It's probably a different button.
It's a General Motors crap.
Yeah, what is this truck?
It's a GMC. It's probably like a 6500 or some shit.
You'd have to put one on.
GMC MH950.
That's a big one.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Look, see, this is what it does. It's digging down.
Mm.
You don't get that in other games, really. So low range, I might be able to get out with the low range. Front's coming up slowly. Man, I shouldn't have stopped. Gotta use the winch again.
You don't ever stop.
Yeah, I shouldn't have. And I don't have anything to winch to. Well, I guess we gotta keep trying the low range. Actually, wait, I'm gonna reverse.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead while we're doing this, and I'm going to go ahead and end the YouTube feed for tonight.
Oh yeah.
And we're done tonight, guys. It's been a great night out there, and it's been a busy week. Not as busy as Joseph's week, though.
Yeah.
Joseph's decided that he wants to try moving once a month, and every month he's going to box up and move to a new house.
I'm glad he enjoys
gosh.
a nomadic lifestyle. I think
Yeah.
that would be crazy.
Yeah, but most nomadic people don't have 2 U-Hauls full of stuff.
Try like 8.
Yeah.
That's a lot of baggage.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Oh well. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end the YouTube feed now. So everybody out there, it's been fun. It's been a pleasure, and we will catch you next week on the Southwest Florida TechNet. And got to figure out how to get out of that screen. There we go. So everybody, be back here next week on the Southwest Florida TechNet. If you want to find out more, it's swfltech.net. That's swfltech.net. And we're on every Friday night. We start we're here a little before 8. We start at 8, and we go till at least 11 o'clock. So check us out. Yep, and we will be doing something fun again next week. So check it out, and we'll catch you next week.